The chakra waves emanating from the two were unprecedented. On one side is the explosive power of the tail beast fusion Rinnegan, and on the other side is the immortal chakra extracted from the almost infinite chakra. Sasuke has not yet used his reincarnation Sharingan power. However, it is still possible to match Nagato. The chakra collision between the two lasted 10 seconds. Afterwards, Nagato seemed to be unable to hold on any longer, and took the initiative to explode the power of Shenluo Tianzhong, shaking Sasuke away. Sasuke took 2 steps back and stabilized his figure. Looked up at Nagato. The power of the main body is indeed stronger than that of Six Paths Pain. Those puppets are too slow to react. Hearing Sasuke's words, Nagato also nodded and admitted, indeed, the speed of the puppet is really slow. So are you satisfied now? Hearing this, Sasuke nodded, very satisfied. Then since you are satisfied, come again. This time, I will beat you. Although the current Nagato is very strong, Rinnegan plus the system of the Uzumaki clan plus the power of the tailed beast, the changes and reactions produced did surprise Sasuke. Just relying on chakra fluctuations, he was able to wrestle with himself. But if it continues, Sasuke doesn't believe Nagato will be able to maintain this peak form. It seems that the crazy attack consumes this guy's chakra. Thinking of this, Sasuke shot directly. The moment the thunder flickered, the super speed mode was activated directly, and the lightning burst out directly. The astonishing speed of a ghost explodes directly. It directly turned into a black thunder and rushed towards Nagato. This time Nagato didn't back down, but raised his hand and punched in the direction of the light. But it's a pity that Sasuke's speed is much, much faster than him. With a sudden flash, it was directly behind Nagato. A look of horror flashed in Nagato's eyes. Still, faster than me. Beep. With one punch, boil style erupted, raising Sasuke's strength by more than 1 level. Hard to Nagato. Shenluo Tianzhong. The repulsive force that exploded in an instant burst out from behind in an instant. And this time the power of Shenluo Tianzhong is not small. It actually directly blocked Sasuke's attack. Like a bullet fired at high speed, Sasuke flew upside down and landed for more than 10 meters. Slowly stop. With a series of smoke, slowly rising. The powerful Shenluo Tianzhong is completely different from the power released by Tiando Pain before. Since this is the case, it is not so simple to break through this layer of defense. Sasuke raised his hand to complete the seal in an instant, before the smoke dissipated. Earth style, rock iron cannon technique, in an instant, 3 stones were ejected from Sasuke's mouth. It directly turned into a huge stone in the air, and smashed straight in the direction of Nagato with the terrifying speed of a cannonball. Nagato frowned. Just jumped to avoid it. However, in the next second, the position of his foothold turned into a mass of mud. Earth style, Wonkwanma. Nagato froze for a moment, no good. Suddenly a flash of thunder flashed past, and the third rakeage of the lightning style chakra mode was turned on, and Vice Admiral Nagato caught the alley-oop directly from the air and sent Nagato to the selection place. Pull away in Sasuke's position. Just at this very moment. A black light appeared behind third rakeage. Sasuke's black stick pierced directly into third rakeage's body, stepped on third rakeage's shoulder, jumped straight up, accelerated again and chased after Nagato who hadn't landed in the air. With such a fast speed, third rakeage's eyes were full of shock. This is today's junior ninja? Run. Can you run away? Earth style, earth flow wall. A soil wall was raised directly in front of Nagato. Although the soil flow wall is used for defense, it can also be used to restrict the enemy's actions. Art is dead, but man is alive. As expected of Uchiha Sasuke, the Grandmaster 5 escape ninjutsu, whether it is lightning style or other escape techniques, the power is not so strong. Just from the sudden burst of chakra fluctuation just now, he could perceive that the defensive power of the earth wall in front of him was amazing. In other words, it is definitely not that easy to break. In other words, you have to take a detour to avoid it. But in this way, Sasuke behind him caught up even faster. Boom. The gold dust that swayed in an instant wanted to stop Sasuke, but was directly ignored by Sasuke. With a wave of his hand, the black stick with thunder burst out of the air, and a black stick directly broke through the block of gold dust. Continue to accelerate, and go straight towards Nagato as fast as lightning. Nagato, who turned around, looked at Sasuke who was close at hand. Unexpectedly, the cooperation of each village was completely useless in front of Sasuke. It seems impossible to keep those people from coming out. While defeating Sasuke, Nagato wants to rely on his own strength. But competing with Sasuke? Close combat? Isn't that courting death? Wouldn't it be better to use his ranged attacks against Sasuke at a distance? So needing someone to assist him to complete this condition is naturally an indispensable part. Shinra Tianzhong. In an instant, Shenluo Tianzhong broke out again, and Sasuke was waiting for this moment. Wood-style, the tree world is coming. Countless vines on the ground broke out at this moment, and Sasuke's chakra fluctuated so terrifyingly. A series of giant wood-style vines entangled towards Nagato in the air. Even with Shenluo Tianzhong's defense, he can't keep it up forever. However, Sasuke can. When the Shenluo Tianzhong is over, then Nagato can be caught by the rich and rich. Nagato felt the engulfing wood-style vines, although Shinra Tensei was able to tear it apart. But after all, it is not a long-term solution. Looking at Sasuke, who had already flown out, Nagato smiled helplessly. Even now, I still have nothing to do with this guy. If you don't rely on other people to help hold him back, you won't have time to prepare for the real killing move. In this case, then get those guys out. Suddenly Nagato turned around and slapped directly on the dirt flow wall behind him. Summoning technique. Boom. At this moment, the eruption of Shenluo Tianzhong ended, and new branches grew out of the destroyed wood-style vines in an instant. Winding quickly in the direction of Nagato, however, he suddenly cast summoning. This made Sasuke a little confused. Are there other six paths golems? Accompanied by the emergence of white smoke, at this moment Sasuke felt the very familiar chakra wave roar. And the familiar chakra fluctuations are not just one, but three chakra fluctuations. And with the fourth strange chakra fluctuation, Sasuke can probably guess who it is. No wonder I tried impure world reincarnation before and they failed. People who have been reincarnated naturally cannot perform impure world reincarnation a second time. Pocket. I really have yours. Boom. Suddenly, there were two astonishing roars. Sasuke stopped his hands and looked up at the figures that appeared dozens of meters away from the smog. The wood-style vines were smashed to pieces, turning into debris and scattered all over the ground. The smoke floated slowly. The ninjas of the combined army dare not breathe now. Fierce. It's too intense. This kind of battle is simply too terrifying. The speed is so fast that the eyes can't keep up with it. Don't even try to see what this battle is all about. For ordinary ninjas, it is thunder and lightning, and the flashes continue to roar one after another. Then it became what it is now. I only saw third Raikage and they were instantly killed one by one. As ordinary ninjas, their hearts trembled. Is this the battle between the top powerhouses among the top powerhouses? This is also a little too scary. Looking at the huge pit that was originally very smooth, what it looks like now, it is simply a mess. It looks like it has been bombed. However, in fact, these few people are fighting here. Ordinary cage-level ninjas are only instantly killed in this battle. If it were there, it might not even be as good as a stone. Swallowing silently, when the United Ninja Army was shocked by the intensity of this battle. Suddenly a figure came out from the smoke, and the appearance of this person immediately made all the ninjas stunned on the spot. Wearing a red armor, this kind of dress is exactly what a ninja in the troubled times would have. At the same time, black hair and the eye-catching Senju clan crest. This is. For Konoha's ninjas, this person's face will never be unfamiliar. After all, the first face on Hokage Rock in Konoha village belongs to this man. He is known as the God of Ninjas. First Hokage put down the troubled times with wood style. Senju Hashirama. In an instant, the minds of almost all ninjas seemed to explode. Is that Senju Hashirama? Konoha's first Hokage? The man who calmed down the troubled times. The creator of wood-style ninjutsu, who is not afraid of even-tailed beasts. The God of ninjas. At this second, the entire battlefield became very quiet. They stared at the man in front of them. Even though the distance is far away, it feels as if he can see his face clearly. Is this a battlefield? Suddenly Senju Hashirama's voice sounded, and he looked around, surrounded by densely packed ninjas on the edge of the huge pit. One by one. There are also various dresses, and the forehead protector on the head has also become a ninja character. This made Hashirama a little puzzled. How is this going? Which villages did this war break out in? Hashirama was confused, but this time he keenly noticed Sasuke standing in front of him. Sasuke? It's you again? Did you bring me from impure world reincarnation? Is this to make me join this war? While talking, Hashirama's face became a little gloomy. He managed to pacify the troubled times, hoping to bring peace to the ninja world, but right now it doesn't look like peace. Sasuke smiled. Do you think if I call you, you will stand opposite me? Hearing this, Hashirama was also taken aback. Yes. If Sasuke summoned him, then he can't stand opposite Sasuke, he should stand in front of Sasuke. Wanting to turn around, at this moment Hashirama found that the body is not under his control at all, at most only the head can be controlled by himself. Who is it? Summoned himself. Has anyone else mastered impure world reincarnation besides Uchiha Sasuke? Really speechless, he was once used as a training partner, and now he is kidnapped to join the war. Those of them who are dead have no peace, and all this is thanks to my younger brother Senju Tobirama. Thinking of this, if he is still alive, he really needs to catch Tobirama out and teach him a good lesson. But now, Shodai, is that really you? Master Hokage, who once pacified the troubled times, have you also been reincarnation by impure world? The surrounding Konoha shinobi were only trying to call Hashirama at this time. When Hashirama heard their voices, his face became even more ugly. Of course there is no problem to answer, but he is out of control now, and these Konoha ninjas seem to be enemies too. As Konoha's Hokage, he is still first Hokage. Even if he appears on this battlefield, he can only be used by others. Helplessly, Hashirama slowly closed his eyes. However, another figure appeared in the next second. Brother, it seems that the person controlling us this time is this annoying kid. Tobirama's voice sounded. At the same time, the smoke drifted away, revealing Tobirama's face. The Konoha shinobi fans who were still in a state of excitement were stunned again when they saw Senju Tobirama appear. And next is third Hokage, Sarutobi Hiruzen, Sensei, and Shodai. How are you? Sarutobi's voice sounded. The two also looked back at Sarutobi behind them. Monkey. Hashirama froze for a moment. Isn't this your apprentice? Master third generation. Suddenly, a person who looked much younger came out. Hashirama stared blankly at the man, who seemed to be a very nice young man. Minato. Aren't you? How come you are here, impure world reincarnation, Orochimaru? Hiruzen reacted now. Second Hokage Tobirama frowned. Monkey, who is this young brat? Suddenly asked this question, Hiruzen froze for a moment. It's my disciple, fourth Hokage. Fourth generation? Has Konoha reached the fourth generation yet? But why is he here? Fourth generation, you are here. Did you die so young? First generation was very surprised. When it comes to this problem, Minato is very helpless, he has no choice but doesn't want to. Indeed, I died because I sealed 9 tails. Seal 9 tails? Hashirama was even more speechless, sealing 9 tails and killing people? Dead or Hokage? What is this? Konoha is so weak now. No. Even if it's just Uchiha Sasuke alone, it's no problem to deal with 9 tails and the like. Dead man is 2.2 weak. First generation, second generation, third generation, fourth generation. The Konoha shinobi at the edge of the crater watched the successive Hokages appear one after the other. Their hearts are now excited and sad at the same time. How powerful Konoha used to be, but now Konoha has been reduced to such a field. The fourth generation is also dead, so who is the Hokage in the village now? Hearing this, Hiruzen and Minato both shook their heads. He died earlier than third generation. The third generation didn't know either, he didn't even know who would be the Hokage when he died. Hey. I didn't expect Konoha to fall to this point. First generation sighed very sadly. At this time, Nagato walked out slowly. The time for reminiscing about the past is over, now. You should complete your mission. By the way, Konoha's current Hokage is one of Sanin's Tsunade. That is, the granddaughter of first Hokage. Own granddaughter? Tsunade? She served as Konoha's 5th Hokage? If this is the case, then the current situation of Konoha is worrying. Hokages of Konoha. What you should consider now is how to deal with this Konoha traitor in front of you. Uchiha Sasuke, Konoha, betrayal. Hashirama and Tobirama were stunned. How could Sasuke be a traitor? This guy also used impure world reincarnation to help them practice. A ninja who used impure world reincarnation for practice. No matter how you look at it, it doesn't look like rebellion. Even Tobirama, who has a very bad attitude towards Sasuke, feels very surprised now. After all, a ninja like Sasuke who uses reanimation jutsu for training cannot possibly be a dangerous person at all. If it was another ninja, I am afraid that this technique would have been used to do evil things long ago. However, Sasuke is only used for cultivation, and 2 points can be seen from the above. First, at least Sasuke will not be the kind of ninja who will be controlled by power. Secondly, learning impure world reincarnation is just for cultivation. Such a ninja would probably not bother to use the power of others to win. However, no matter what the situation is, Sasuke should not be a traitor. What the hell does this happen? First generation looked at third Hokage Hiruzen. Hiruzen also shook his head, he didn't know very well. Let alone the fourth generation, there is no way to know who died before him. It seems that the specific situation depends on what fifth Hokage has to say. But now it seems that fifth Hokage is not here. Hashirama sighed. This time his body had already started to move. He rushed directly towards Sasuke. Sasuke's gaze skipped over Senju Hashirama and stared directly at Nagato. The four before are not good, now use Konoha's Hokage, do you think they can stop me? Hearing this, Nagato smiled, you have to try. Beep. Facing the Senju Hashirama who is attacking rapidly, the terrifying power of the Senju clan. Sasuke stood where he was, a second before Senju Hashirama's fist arrived. He also waved his fist, and the result is. Sasuke stood motionless on the spot, and the ripples formed by the impact spread instantly. Blow away all the smoke and sand and stones around in an instant. Hashirama stared at Sasuke, feeling Sasuke's current chakra waves. Sage mode? To be able to release chakra and keep it in a fixed shape is like a tailed beast. A punch made a very terrifying movement. Meanwhile Hashirama was shaken back. See this scene. This is the god of ninjas, and Hashirama is no ordinary ninja. Even the state of impure world reincarnation, in the cognition of all ninjas. The ninja who pacified the troubled times, Senju Hashirama is a god-like existence. The power of wood style is still a legend in the ninja world, but it was shocked. Sasuke just stood on the spot, completely ignoring first generation. However, this punch surprised Tobirama, Hiruzen, and Minato. The strange power of the Senju family, plus the user is still a strong person like Senju Hashirama. Unexpectedly, they couldn't shake Uchiha Sasuke at all. Just how perverted is this kid's strength? Since you think they can hold me back, then I'll let you see, these dead shadows alone can't do it. Beep. After the words fell, Sasuke also made a move. Lightning style. Discharge. Black thunder, black light. It flows out from around Sasuke's body in an instant, rolling it along Sasuke's arm, like a stream flowing rapidly. In the next second, it burst out from between the 5 fingers, and swept towards Senju Hashirama who was shaken back in the distance. Hashirama landed, his body was still slipping backwards, but his hands were clasped together. Wood style. The tree world comes. Launching ninjutsu in this posture, Hashirama's reaction was indeed very quick, although it was not his original intention. But in the controlled state, his combat power will still be fully displayed. The instantly inflated wood-style vines burst out of the ground, like big snakes quickly coiling towards Sasuke. The entire giant pit has a diameter of hundreds of meters. But half of it was filled almost instantly, and these erupted wood-style vines were growing crazily. And at this moment, Sasuke also joined hands. HMPH. Use your technique to defeat you, god of ninja. In the next second, the same wood-style tenman erupted again. This time, however, the scope of the outbreak was broader. Wood-style vines burst out suddenly, entangled, squeezed, and twisted each other. Wood-style vines are constantly being crushed. Hashirama, who fell to the ground, stepped on the tree that suddenly grew up, looking at Sasuke with a very solemn expression. So strong. This is the first time I have encountered an enemy like him on wood style. Hashirama had never faced such an enemy. Water style. Water severing wave. Suddenly there was a violent sound of running water. The second Hokage Senju Tobirama at the back spewed out a high-speed flow of water directly from its mouth, as if it had turned into a water blade, cutting and cutting all the growing wood styles in the middle. And at this moment Sasuke directly stopped the release of wood style. Changed hands directly broke out water style. One-handed mudra chakra condenses instantly. Water style, water severing wave. Boom. The same high-speed sweeping water collided in the air. It's just that 2 streams of water that didn't seem too eye-catching collided, but the tribute that exploded in the next second spread directly across the entire battlefield. Buzz buzz. A storm swept through. At this moment, Countless ninjas dropped their jaws in shock. Look at the wood-style vines that suddenly grow out and disappear suddenly. The water vapor exploding in the air is accompanied by a substantial airshock wave visible to the naked eye. In just a few seconds, the intensity of the fight has already surpassed their imagination. Along with the sound of trees collapsing, dust and smoke rose everywhere. Although Tobirama couldn't see Sasuke, he was shocked. Not only my brother's wood style, but also my water style? How on earth did this Uchiha Sasuke do it? Wood style. Wooden dragon technique. The suddenly collapsed trees directly converged into a wooden dragon, and in Hashirama's voice, rushed directly towards Sasuke's position in the distance. And following Sasuke's direction, the same wooden dragon appeared. The two wooden dragons collided directly in the air, like two big snakes fighting. However, Sasuke's wooden dragon seemed to be superior, and directly pressed Hashirama's wooden dragon to the ground and ravaged it crazily. Hashirama looked at the wooden dragon who fell to the wind. Even wooden dragon technique. How did this kid? How did he master wood style? Crack. Suddenly turning into a black thunderbolt, Sasuke, who appeared directly in front of Hashirama, smiled. What? Shodai seems surprised. Haven't you ever fought an enemy who also knows wood style? The power to calm down troubled times is indeed very strong, but in this era, it is not. Thunder flashes in his hand. Sasuke's Kusanagi sword is covered with black thunder, and it slashes straight towards Hashirama's neck. Swish. Sparks splash. Sasuke's eyes shrank slightly, golden, glitter. The friction sound produced by the blades colliding with each other is very ear-piercing. Standing in front of Sasuke at this moment is Konoha's fourth Hokage, Namikaze Minato. Ninja golden glitter. Perhaps among the shadows, the hard power is the weakest, but Flying Thunder God is superb. But very powerful. The moment Senju Tobirama saw this scene, he froze for a moment. When did the imprint left behind? Flying Thunder God is even more skilled than him. Although fourth Raikage is young, he does not look weak. But, in terms of strength, it's too bad. He seemed to have underestimated the power of Sasuke's blade slashing. Beep. With one knife, Minato was cut and flew out. Accompanied by black lightning, Minato's body was paralyzed almost instantly. Minato, who was looking at Sasuke at the moment of being knocked into the air. There was still a look of disbelief in his eyes. What a strong power. What a terrifying lightning style. Before touching the ground in the next second, Minato's body disappeared directly. Appeared in the distance in another posture, with both feet firmly kicking the ground. Keep going back. Quickly slipped out. After sliding for a distance of more than 10 meters, it slowly stopped. Minato looked at his hands. If it was a real body, his hands would probably be trembling now. Fortunately, this is the body of Impure World reincarnation, and it doesn't feel any pain at all. Sage mode. Suddenly Hashirama turned on Sage mode, and Hashirama absorbed the magic of chakra, and his aura instantly increased. It stands to reason that Sage mode cannot be activated even under the control of Impure World reincarnation. But Hashirama is fighting now, and he also wants to find out how strong this ninja named Uchiha Sasuke is. At the same time, why became Konoha's rebellious ninja? Sage mode is turned on, and the combat power soars again. At this moment, Hashirama's gaze became firm, and he shouted violently. Wood style. Wooden golem jutsu. Wooden golem suddenly got up from the ground under his feet, and his speed was even more amazing than when he condensed the wooden dragon. Sasuke is also not to be outdone. With a light clap, wooden golem appeared instantly. The moment the huge bodies of the two wooden golems appeared on the battlefield, the eyes of the ninjas expanded to the limit. Then wooden golem's fists collided. Beep. Wind. Straightforward burst of madness. The sawdust scattered on the surrounding ground was directly rolled up. Directly formed corrugations visible to the naked eye. A split second. The ground began to vibrate crazily. The ninjas, who were trying to stabilize their bodies, are now completely dumbfounded. That's the first generation. Konoha's first generation item. God of Ninjas. Uchiha Sasuke actually used wood style to fight against the god of ninja. At first wood style Tenman, then wooden dragon, and now wooden golem. It is really that he uses whatever tricks others use, and it seems to be slightly better. Sasuke's wooden golem punched Hashirama's wooden golem back, and then he stepped forward and launched a continuous attack. After snatching the advantage, Sasuke's wooden golem is like a boxer in an attacking state, not giving a chance at all. Just like the wooden dragons that are rolling and colliding with each other on the ground at this moment. Directly entangled, and then bombarded by wolves. There were waves of crashing sounds like thunder roaring. Sasuke smiled and looked at Hashirama, who looked surprised. Just about to say something, suddenly the golden figure appeared again. It was Namikaze Minato again. Minato suddenly appeared with kunai in one hand and Rasengan in the other, his figure spinning in the air. Although he may not be as good as Hashirama in terms of strength, he is handsome. Namikaze Minato's tricks are really cool, and countless ninjas saw Minato's figure. All showed fascination. After all, the strength may be weaker, but being handsome is a must. Rasengan struck straight at Sasuke with one hand. Minato's timing was very precise. Just watching Sasuke should be distracted by fighting Hashirama. But Sasuke's reaction speed is not comparable to Minato's. At the same time, Sasuke also had a smile on his face. When Rasengan was getting closer to Sasuke's chest, so much less than 10 centimeters to hit the commander to help. In the next second, the kunai in Sasuke's hand was thrown upwards. This action made Minato startled for a moment, but he didn't have time to think about it. Next second, Sasuke's figure disappeared immediately. Suddenly disappearing without a trace, Minato was startled. This is Flying Thunder God? ×5. At this moment, Hashirama, Tobirama, Minato, Hiruzen and even Nagato all spoke at the same time. Even Flying Thunder God Sasuke. Beep. At the same time, the Chidori in Sasuke's hand instantly penetrated Minato's body in the next second. The constant sound of birdsong. Do you think that you are the only one who can Flying Thunder God? Master 4th Generation. Kicked away Namikaze Minato, who was startled and unconscious. It's not that Sasuke doesn't want to solve Minato's hidden danger at once, but that there is another person who will also Flying Thunder God. Second Mizukage Tobirama. Tobirama, who took Minato away with the Flying Thunder God, turned his head and looked at Sasuke in the air. Raise your hand to detonate the detonator directly. Sasuke glanced at the detonating talisman at his feet, the chakra snake around him quickly coiled. Form a defense. Boom. The flames of the explosion engulfed Sasuke. What was that just now? That's Master 4th Hokage. No, that's not what I asked. What I asked was that Sasuke just now, why did he suddenly disappear? The technique he uses seems to be somewhat similar to 4th Hokage. The ninjas in other villages were puzzled, but among the ninjas in Konoha, Jonin Might Guy in the crowd was very pale. It's not like, that's Flying Thunder God technique. While talking, Hiruzen below started, fire style, lightning style, water style, earth style, wind style. As a doctor of ninjutsu, the 5 escapes broke out at the same time, and now he is in the state of impure world reincarnation, so there is no need to worry about the consumption of chakra. 5 kinds of rays of light burst out, sweeping towards Sasuke from 5 different positions. Sasuke sneered. Heads suddenly popped out from behind, wood-style avatars. However, these avatars did not completely break away from Sasuke's body, but turned Sasuke into superhuman. In the same way as Hiruzen, Sasuke also directly releases Dun. 5 color rays of light collided in the air. The resulting air fluctuates violently. Now, the 4 Konoha Hokages all shot, and the enemy they dealt with together, Uchiha Sasuke, actually fought back in a way that no one expected. That is to use the same technique. The only difference is Chidori and Rasengan. Although Sasuke can also Rasengan, Sasuke prefers Chidori. But even so, countless ninjas looked at Sasuke's figure at this moment. A strange feeling could not help but appear in my heart. Born Uchiha. Just like the son of heaven, whether it's forbidden technique, blood succession boundary or secret technique, or something else. It's like there's nothing this guy can't master. Wood style to calm troubled times. Flying Thunder God in the name of shining. 5 escape ninjutsu. Amazing water style. Uchiha Sasuke, he knows it all. His energy seemed limitless. Beep. With a piercing roar. The aftermath of the explosion spread, and the ground seemed to be swept clean in an instant. Flying sand and stones. Sasuke fell steadily. Stand on top of the wooden golem. At the same time, wooden golem, who had knocked Hashirama wooden golem back with one punch, also stopped attacking. Standing still. The wooden dragon that defeated the Hashirama wooden dragon in the distance also returned to the wooden golem. Huge wooden dragons pale in comparison to the wooden golem. But at this moment, The wooden dragon was entrenched on the wooden dragon's body, and an incomparable momentum spread instantly. Sasuke stood quietly above wooden golem's head, staring down with cold eyes without opening his mouth. Look straight ahead. Minato. Even Minato now seems to feel the intense pressure of Sasuke's terrifying talent. One person. Genius. To be able to reach such a level of genius. Suffocation. Suffocating pressure. Sasuke's talent, like an invisible big hand, is slowly unfolding at this moment, covering the sky with one hand. Just left a little peripheral vision for other ninjas. I'm afraid that all the ninjas in the entire ninja world may not be as talented as this monster in front of them. Nagato couldn't help but his heartbeat began to accelerate, and his blood began to flow rapidly. This feeling has never been felt before. This battle seems, even with the help of Konoha's 4 shadows, he may not be able to win. Do you really want to let that man come? Thinking of this, Nagato shook his hand firmly. He can do it on his own. Even without that guy. And the man in Nagato's mouth is naturally Uchiha Madara. Uchiha Madara at this moment, standing on the Hokage rock of first Hokage Senju Hashirama. With arms folded and head bowed, he looked down at the statue of Hashirama at his feet. Motor. I'm back again. I didn't expect that Madara, would return to Konoha one day. Speaking of which, Madara herself laughed. Look up. The flames in front of him were monstrous. The battle is raging throughout Konoha village. Numerous houses and buildings were destroyed, and ninja corpses were everywhere. Even just behind Madara, a large group of ninjas fell down, and the blood pooled together to form a huge pool of blood. Screams could be vaguely heard from all around. Madara looked in the direction of Itonen village. Although he can't see it, but it seemed as if he could feel an inexplicable and terrifying force. Make him feel palpitations. What power? And at this moment on the battlefield, the medical department behind the Ninja United Army. Tsunade in the tent jumped out instantly with one step. She looked into the distance, and behind her, 4th Raikage, Gaara, 3rd Tsuchikage Onoki, and Mizukage Terumi Mei also came out. Their gazes looked at Sasuke's direction in unison. A new impure world reincarnation? It's Konoha's 1st generation, 2nd generation, 3rd generation, 4th Hokage. When the ninja reported this information, the 5 shadows were silent. Dawn. Even the shadow of Konoha is an impure world reincarnation. And there is 1st Hokage. These 4 words represent completely different meanings. Even if all the other shadows in the ninja world add up, perhaps the strength far exceeds Hashirama, but in the hearts of ninjas, this is still a god that can never be surpassed. God of ninjas. A legendary ninja who quells troubled times. However, what makes Tsunade and Gokage even more unacceptable now is the second wave of information. Uchiha Sasuke, 1-on-4, against Konoha's 4 shadows at all, even used Master Hokage's own skills to deal with them. No matter what kind of attack he faces, he uses exactly the same technique. Hearing this, 4th Raikage shook his head directly. Impossible. Uchiha's Sharingan can copy ninjutsu, but how can it copy all jutsu? Onogi smiled. Even the old man's dust dunge, that kid can perfectly reproduce it, even surpassing the old man. Do you think it's really impossible? Hearing this, 4th Raikage was silent. The 5 were just silent for a few seconds. Immediately afterwards, Tsunade said directly, I'm going to take a look anyway. Not only because of the strength of Sasuke, but also because of 1st Hokage. Her grandpa was also reincarnation by impure world. In that case, Tsunade will go to the forefront no matter what he says. Take a look at your grandpa for yourself. Can Sasuke really block his grandpa? Let's go then. Look at Uchiha Sasuke, how much more heaven-defying. 1-5, it would be fine to defeat them Gokage, if even Konoha's previous Hokage can easily defeat them. That's different. And there is also the mysterious leader of the Akatsuki organization, the former owner of Rinnegan, the real body. Now this information has also been obtained by the 5 cages. The so-called Pen 6 Paths, which was co-authored before, is just someone else's puppet. No wonder each has a Rinnegan. It seems that it is just the eyes projected on the puppet. Not really a Rinnegan. The 5 nodded to each other, even though the rich man has not fully recovered from his injuries. But they had no choice but to prepare to see this peerless battle with their own eyes. Sasuke has to deal with Konoha's successive Hokages alone. To be precise, it's not just dealing with the Hokage of the past, but also adding one. Uzumaki Nagato. 8 Tails Jinchuriki, Rinnegan bearers, and the Uzumaki clan. 3 different identities are superimposed. No matter which one they are no less than cage-level ninjas. This moment. Look at with a pair of 5. Use wood style to suppress Hashirama, and use water style and various ninjutsu to equalize with Tobirama. Turn into a black flash with the flying thunder god, and easily dodge various attacks from the golden flash of the 4th Hokage. 5 escape ninjutsu against 5 escape ninjutsu, and at the same time it can perfectly suppress 3rd Hokage. At last, it is to resist 8 Tails Jinchuriki Uzumaki Nagato with physical skills and amazing speed. Uchiha Sasuke showed no sign of being defeated. It made people overwhelmed and dumbfounded, and the pace was so fast that everyone fought fiercely. It is being staged in the giant pit. And at this moment, on the edge of the giant crater, 3rd Raikage, 2nd Mizukage, Tsuchikage, 4th Kazekage Luo Sha and others have escaped or recovered. Look at the battle in front of you. As shadows, they seem to have a kind of people who are not from the same world as each other. Such a feeling. 3rd Raikage. Monsters always appear in Konoha. Why on earth? 2nd Tsuchikage. The god of ninjas can't suppress a kid. 2nd Mizukage. Such a person, why not in my Kirigakure? 4th Kazekage. It's a good thing this kid wasn't born in the Sengoku era. If Sasuke was from the Sengoku era, I am afraid that there would not be any 5 great nations in the current world. As shadows, the 4 of them are already a little numb now. But the battle has only just begun. In the middle of the battlefield, Sasuke is 1 on 5. The thunder and lightning raged non-stop, and it seemed that it never stopped from the beginning to the end. At the same time, he controls wood-style Fujiman's continuous attack. While dealing with other shadows, he can even use wood-style ninjutsu to deal with 1st Hokage. Just kicked away 3rd Hokage Hiruzen, who had summoned the ape demon incarnation Wishful Stick. The next second a golden flash appeared behind Sasuke. At the same time, the raging water blade in front of him directly cut fiercely. Sasuke raised his hand and lightning-style chakra erupted, and at the same time the Kusanagi sword in his hand was swung out of nothing. Iron sand swept up behind him, and Rasengan hit the iron sand defense supported by Commander. At the same time, the attacks of the 2 were blocked. Immediately afterwards, the moment when the sand and iron fell, Sasuke's eyes glowed with black lightning. In an instant, thunder and lightning erupted, and the densely packed thunder snakes exploded directly centered on Sasuke. Behind him, 4th Hokage Namikaze Minato was paralyzed by lightning. In the next second, the Kusanagi sword in Sasuke's hand gathered a large amount of lightning. Facing Sarutobi Hiruzen, who rushed up again, he directly pierced the opponent's body with a sword. But at this moment, overhead, Nagato's voice sounds. Shenluo Tianjung. Beep. The terrifying impact force that erupted directly hit Sasuke crazily. Sasuke's figure disappeared instantly, flying thunder god technique. Swish. A black flash appeared directly behind 4th Raikage, whose body was still immobile. The black stick directly penetrates the opponent's body, turning into the hands of afterimages, continuously swinging a large number of black sticks. Almost in the blink of an eye, 4th Hokage was directly tied into a hedgehog. Minato froze, wanting to turn around, but at this time, the sand and iron kept wrapping his body. Wrap him directly into a giant iron body. At the same time Sasuke's hand was pressing on the iron sand. 5 elements seal, 8 sign seal, 4 elephant seal. 3 consecutive seal ninjutsu moments completed the seal of 4th Hokage Namikaze Minato. In this wave of operations, countless ninjas who are good at sealing techniques are fascinated. Continuously cast 3 different sealing techniques, and at the same time be able to combine them perfectly. And it's done in an instant. Now Sasuke has 1 less opponent. This way the stress is much less. Nagato landed and saw the sealed 4th Hokage Namikaze Minato. Frowned. 1 more Minato or 1 less Minato, the pressure on Sasuke is completely different. But now it was Sasuke's turn not to give him any time. You seem distressed. Lightning style, Lei Shun. Accompanied by the deafening roar of thunder. Sasuke appeared directly behind Nagato. Boil-style explosion, chakra explosion. When Boil-style merged with the strange power of the Senju clan, Sasuke punched Nagato's back fiercely with a momentary punch. Nagato had no time to react at this moment, but fortunately Senju Hashirama appeared in time. The same punch hit Sasuke. Beep. The moment the roar sounded, the tail of chakra behind Nagato also began to rush toward Sasuke. The 8 tails are blocked by Sasuke's 8-headed snake. The impact of the two forces, the resulting fluctuations, directly spread and swept across the entire battlefield. Such an earth-shattering vibration. Almost all the ninjas suddenly felt their bodies shaking, and some of them couldn't stand still. The ninjas around the huge pit silently swallowed their saliva. This guy, 1 to 5, seems to have the upper hand? It's terrible, strength, speed, defense, ninjutsu, almost invulnerable. Simply the all-around perfect ninja. From the point of view of the ninjas, it is indeed true. 4th Raikage stared at Sasuke. Sasuke, who was able to activate the lightning-style speed mode in an instant, coupled with the cooperation of Flying Thunder God. It's totally possible to be unbeatable. These two techniques alone have already made Sasuke invincible. Can defend against Flying Thunder God, but not against Sasuke's lightning style, which has amazing speed. This guy's speed. I'm afraid no one can limit it. 4th Raikage sighed. 3rd Tsuchikage on the side also nodded. Not only the speed, but also the strength of this guy is unrivaled. Looking at the god of ninja who was blown away by a punch in the battlefield. Not even Senju Hashirama, the ninja who pacified the troubled times, could resist Sasuke's fist. Not to mention the ninjas. The most terrifying thing is his flexible use of various ninjutsu, and his terrifying power. Looking at the field, Gaara played a random water style, directly overwhelming the two top players, 2nd Hokage and 3rd Hokage. It doesn't matter if it is strong in speed and strength. Even Sasuke's ninjutsu seems to be the best in the entire ninja world. The ninjutsu doctor of the Grandmaster Wudu, 3rd Hokage Sarutobi Hiruzen, seemed to be alive in front of Uchiha Sasuke. Water style, water dragon bomb technique, lightning style, discharge. Compound ninjutsu, lightning water dragon bomb. Instantly a compound ninjutsu, directly hitting the 3rd generation and 2nd generation, the terrifying impact of water style, plus the paralysis effect of lightning style. In the next second, Sasuke's figure appeared directly, and each of them pierced their bodies with a black stick. Of course, it was only to temporarily block the actions of the two of them. Because of Nagato on the side, the tail beast chakra broke out. A large-scale attack can directly destroy Sasuke's black stick. Get the two guys free again. Fortunately, I seized the opportunity to solve a 4th Hokage Namikaze Minato just now. Otherwise, with Minato's Flying Thunder God technique, Sasuke's current situation will be even more difficult. After all, 1 to 5, and each one is a pervert within a pervert. Even Sasuke had to think about solving 1 or 2 first. Reduce the pressure they put on themselves, so that they can deal with other people better. Especially 1st Hokage Senju Hashirama and Uzumaki Nagato, 2 guys. In Sasuke's eyes, the most difficult to deal with. Immortal Chakra and Tailed Beast Chakra, the power of these 2 chakras is amazing, but the others are fine. When Sasuke was preparing to find a way to solve the 1st generation first. At this moment, a person in the Ninja United Army suddenly jumped out. And goes straight to the sealed 4th Hokage Namikaze Minato. This guy was wearing a black robe. But even so, Sasuke can still clearly feel his chakra fluctuations. Uzumaki. Naruto. Countless ninjas are also stunned at this moment. What is someone jumping out to do at this time? Want to interfere with this battle? Can ninjas like them intervene in this level of battle? It's just looking for death. However, in the next second, Naruto hugged the sand iron cube that sealed the 4th Hokage, and was ready to leave. Seeing this scene, Sasuke frowned, raised his hand, and the sand and iron swept across in an instant, wreaking havoc in the direction of Naruto. At the same time, another stream of sand appeared to block Sasuke's iron sand. Beep. Sasuke frowned and turned to look at Gaara on the huge pit beside him. Don't you have a long memory? Come to hinder me again, Yuan. However, at this moment, Fujiman exploded around Sasuke. There is no time for Sasuke to deal with Naruto, who wants to take the 4th generation away. You can only concentrate on getting Senju Hashirama and Nagato first. But Sasuke can't control it, but Nagato will not sit idly by and let 3rd Raikage and others who are no longer qualified to participate in the battle directly rescue Namikaze Minato. 3rd Raikage and others dispatched. The lightning-style chakra mode is turned on, and the explosive speed may not be a big deal to Sasuke. But for Naruto, or other ninjas, it's quite scary. Hell Spike, 3 penetrating hands. The thunder flickered, and the thunder and lightning that swept over instantly erupted directly. 3rd Raikage aimed straight at Uzumaki Naruto. However, at this moment, Naruto has no time to turn around, nor does he have time to escape. Shikamaru and others have already seen that it is Naruto, even though Naruto is wearing a black robe to cover his body. When they were worried, suddenly another thunder burst out. Blocked behind Naruto. Beep. The roar sounded, and the moment of thunder and lightning flashed. A voice sounded. HMPH. Couldn't Konoha's ninjas be a little more peaceful? Although the words are full of complaints, but the movement of his hand directly blocked Third Raikage attacking Naruto from behind. The person who made the shot was Fourth Raikage. Third Raikage saw the same flickering thunder. HMPH. Thought you were dead. Hearing this, Fourth Raikage smiled. Father, I won't die so easily. Third Raikage noticed Fourth Raikage's hand. It seems that this era is still in turmoil. Ah. That's right. The organization that controls you wants to capture all the tailed beasts and use them to threaten the entire ninja world. The 8 tails in our village have already. Was just a simple sentence, and Third Raikage probably understood how bad the situation was. Really, it seems that the old man has caused trouble for you too. Dad. Trust me, I'll be fine. I'm a Cloud Shinobi movie. The two father and son looked at each other and smiled. And at this moment, an astonishing breaking wind sounded. This is the dust escape from second Tsuchikage. The light of dust escape swept over. Third Raikage was stunned for a moment, and suddenly another dusty light burst out. The two rays of light collided in the air, producing an astonishing roar. The shock wave formed by the explosion spreads. Countless rock shinobi are taken aback. Someone blocked Lord Second Tsuchikage's dust escape, and among the ninja allied army, the only one who could use the same dust escape. Third Tsuchikage-sama. Great. Third Tsuchikage-sama, you're awake. Are you alright? It can't be alright. Third Tsuchikage-sama's previous injury. Speaking of this, rock shinobi are a little worried about the situation of Third Tsuchikage. After all, they have suffered such a heavy blow before they are old. How is it possible to recover in a short time? In the air, Third Tsuchikage Onogi looked at his teacher solemnly. None. Looking at you, Onoki, you're seriously injured. Wu smiled, not showing any worries, but in fact Wu was very worried about Rock Shinobi's situation. It's just that I'm not good at expressing it that way. Onogi smiled. Don't worry, teacher. Although I am getting old, this old bone is still useful. At least for now, I can continue to persist. Wu nodded. It's better like this, otherwise no one can stop me. Swish. The two streams of water below collided rapidly. Second Mizukage looked at Terumi Mei in front of him. Nice water style. Look at your appearance. Are you the Mizukage of this generation? Terumi Mei nodded and tried to adjust her breathing. Second Mizukage is very dissatisfied now. Is everyone in the village extinct? Put a woman in charge of Mizukage? Damn it. After I died, the village became like this. What does third generation do? What generation Mizukage are you? Although Terumi Mei is very upset about being discriminated against by second Mizukage. But when I think of the era of second Mizukage, there were many wars and chaos, and it was indeed much more difficult for women to get ahead than in the current ninja world. I am fifth Mizukage. Have you reached fifth generation yet? In this way, Mizukage is somewhat relieved, which means that Kirigakure at least continues to continue. And there will never be a shortage of people who will succeed Mizukage. That's fine. But second Mizukage is still very angry about a woman serving as Mizukage. Raise your hand directly water style. Water iron cannon technique burst out suddenly. With Terumi Mei's current physical condition, it is very difficult to escape such an attack. And at this moment, a cold air swept across, instantly freezing the water droplets in the air. The sudden chill made second Mizukage frown. The one who appeared in front of him was naturally Bai. The condensed ice wall of ice cave blocks second Mizukage. Bai said to the weak Terumi Mei, Sister Terumi Mei, leave this person to me to deal with. You take a break. Hearing this, Terumi Mei nodded. If Bai made a move, then she really didn't have to worry too much. But the question is, did Shiro really shoot to block second Mizukage? Second Mizukage looks at Shiro. It was another woman, and looking at the surgery just now, this guy seems to be from the Bingden clan of the village. Not bad. You can easily block my master's technique, you seem to be quite strong. Boom. At this time, the gold dust and the sand collide. The ninjas of Sanagakure feel very helpless now. Lord 4th Kazekage is really at war with Lord 5th Kazekage. The former father and son have now become enemies. Rosa looked at such a young Gaara. Gaara, have you also become Shadow Extinguisher? Gaara nodded, that's right. Now I'm 5th Kazekage. He. Didn't expect me, Sanagakure, to be so miserable. Let a kid be Kazekage. Sanagakure was already very difficult, but now it seems that this difficulty has become more serious because of his death. So much so that his own son, Gaara, is about to become Kazekage at his age. But it's okay. Gaara can successfully become Kazekage, which can be regarded as another way of success. Shadow against shadow, past and present confrontation. The battle here also made the Ninja United Army very excited. This is a battle that spans time. The former Shadow and the present Shadow broke out in battle. But the situation is not very optimistic. After all, the 4 shadows are all injured, and the result of the battle may not be very good. And this time the last of the 5 shadows, Hokage Tsunade, chased in the direction of Naruto. See Naruto stop after taking Minato far away. Tsunade fell behind Naruto. What are you going to do, Naruto? Naruto turned back and took off the hood. Hokage Darren, the other half of Nine Tails chakra is in my father's body. If I can understand Nine Tails chakra, then maybe can be defeated the power of Sasuke. Hearing this, Tsunade was stunned. So the 9 tails in Naruto are only half of chakra? It never occurred to me, but that's fine too. Naruto. Are you sure it's okay? 9 tails getting out of control is serious. Naruto. Don't worry, 9 tails has been standing on my school calendar. Saying that, Naruto looked at Minato, who was heavily sealed, but the problem is, Sasuke's seal is too strong. In this case, I can't get back the 9 tails chakra in Dad's body. Sealing technique. Tsunade smiled, don't worry, Grandmaster Seal ninjas, we have plenty, especially in this battlefield. All the ninjas in the sealing class, come here. Following Tsunade's order, a large number of ninjas from Grandmaster's sealing techniques soon gathered. Work begins to undo the seal cast by Sasuke. Although it is not difficult to remove the sealing technique, Sasuke's sealing technique is not the same. The chakra used by Sasuke Shikong's sealing technique is not comparable to that of ordinary ninjas. So if you want to unravel Sasuke's seal, even if all the ninjas in the seal squad work together, I'm afraid it will take a lot of time. At this time, the battle in the huge pit in the distance is still fierce. Sasuke's body slipped rapidly, and he drew a distance of more than 10 meters on the ground. Only then slowly stopped. Looking up, Tobirama and Hiruzen continued to attack him continuously. They were trapped by the black stick for a short time before, but it didn't take long for them to be rescued by Nagato directly. Now both Hashirama and Nagato are united. Tobirama and Hiruzen team up, forming a wheel battle attack. As the battle progressed, Nagato seemed to be mastering Sasuke's mode of action. In this case, with the advantage of numbers, Nagato can suppress Sasuke more easily. In addition, whether it is Tobirama, Hiruzen or Hashirama, they are all top ninjas. Hashirama, god of ninjas, Tobirama ninjutsu master, developed many secret techniques. If it wasn't for the critical moment, Sasuke used Flying Thunder God to escape, I am afraid that Sasuke would have been bombed beyond recognition by now. And Hiruzen. Basically, he is the ceiling of an ordinary ninja. He has no blood succession limit, no secret art, and he is a grandmaster with 5 escapes. Although compared to Sasuke, due to the understanding of chakra and art, the level of nature transformation is much worse. But the dazzling ninjutsu really made Sasuke start the head picture. One-on-one Sasuke blows them all. But when they cooperate with each other, the time left for Sasuke to think is not too much at all. This situation really made Sasuke a little tired. The Kusanagi sword in his hand blocked the Ryuji stick, and the lightning style burst out to block Tobirama's attack on the other side. Sasuke continued to retreat, raised his hand and threw out 2 balls of detonating clay, which turned into a white snake and flew straight towards the 2 of them in an instant. The moment the 2 bodies were entangled, Sasuke raised his hand to form a mudra. Drink. Boom. The explosion sounded, and the flames erupted instantly, spreading with astonishing ripples. Sasuke turned into thunder, lightning style, Lei Shun. He came directly in front of Hashirama. Chidori blade directly smashed Hashirama's wood style, and at the same time backhanded boil style, Chaowu technique. Melt Hashirama's body at close range, punch. Beep. Blast Hashirama out of the way. But at this moment, there was a sound of breaking wind. The flying black stick blocked all of Sasuke's escape routes. There is no way but to cast Flying Thunder God again. Appeared in another position, and in this position, Tobirama resumed attacking directly with the water blade. Sasuke was helpless to defend again. Even though the opponent lacked one Namikaze Minato, the coordination was more tacit, which shortened Sasuke's reaction time. So much so that the situation that was able to suppress the other party has now become a state of being suppressed. The tailed beast bomb in Nagato's hand was also condensed and smashed directly in the direction of Sasuke. Tobirama dodged, and the tailed beast bomb appeared directly in front of Sasuke. The astonishing chakra fluctuation swallowed Sasuke in an instant, and it was obviously impossible to use the sealing technique to absorb the seal, which would be equivalent to restricting his own actions. Become a target for people to attack, although absorbing a tailed beast bomb probably only takes less than 3 seconds. But for these enemies, 3 seconds is already quite a long time. Enough for them to tear Sasuke apart. It can only be resisted in other ways. Summoning. Five-fold Rashomon. Bang bang bang. A series of huge Rashomons appeared directly, blocking the impact of the tailed beast bomb. The first door was broken in an instant, followed by the second door, the third door, and the fourth door. Tailed beast bomb's speed finally slowed down. As the fourth door was broken, the fifth door made an astonishing roar. At this time, the power of the tailed beast bomb has been weakened a lot, and Sasuke has time to jump away directly. Boom. There was another huge explosion in the giant crater. The soaring mushroom cloud made all the ninjas in the entire battlefield feel terrified. TTT. Sasuke stood in the flames, water-style, water turbulent waves, instantly extinguished all the flames. The current dissipated. On the other side, Tobirama, Hashirama, Hiruzen, and Nagato also landed at the same time. The four stared at Sasuke together. Sasuke's face looked a little gloomy at this time. In the continuous fierce battle, Sasuke's chakra fluctuations not only did not weaken at all, but seemed to become much stronger. This made Nagato very puzzled, as Sasuke didn't seem to be able to consume chakra. But there was a faint tiredness in Sasuke's eyes. Obviously, the high-intensity fierce battle also made Sasuke a little tired. Sasuke is indeed tired now, but this tiredness was nothing to Sasuke. But the problem is that Nagato must be done as soon as possible. I care more about Naruto than Nagato Sasuke, and finish analyzing Ashura chakra as soon as possible. Push Yang Dun to level 5, and then see how Yin Yang Dun improves afterwards. It's exhausting now. If we continue in the future, if we add more enemies, Sasuke will not be so arrogant that he thinks he is completely invincible. When it's time to bow your head, you still have to bow your head. Sasuke. If I say before, I can't see the hope of winning. Then now I have seen the dawn of victory. A rare smile finally appeared on Nagato's face. At the same time, Konan in the rear also breathed a sigh of relief. If Sasuke is really unbeatable, then all she has to do is to find a way to leave with Nagato. Victory? Sasuke laughed. Are you so confident? Just relying on suppressing myself, I feel that I have won. It's too small to look down on yourself. Sasuke smiled coldly. Do you think you are sure to win? Nagato smiled without saying a word, as if he thought that was it. But in the next second Sasuke also smiled and nodded. Then, it's time for me to end this battle too. By the way, don't think that you are the only one with help. What do you mean by that? Nagato froze for a moment. Did Sasuke want some of his men to join the battle? Although it is undeniable that Kimimaro and Shigego have strong combat effectiveness, which can be called cage-level combat effectiveness. But compared with the few in front of them, they are far behind. At most they can stop Hiruzen. Hashirama and Tobirama are Nagato's biggest reliance. Sasuke raised his hand and snapped his fingers lightly. Next second, the Kimimaro and Shigego that Nagato imagined did not rush over. I thought they were being blocked by Scorpion, Deidara and 7 ninja swordsmen, and they couldn't catch up for a while. However, what appeared in front of them were strange men in black, and these men in black are all members of the Sasuke Wood-style army. These men in black appeared. There were 5 people in total, all standing behind Sasuke in unison. Seeing these people, Nagato frowned, and he also felt strong chakra fluctuations from them. Yet this chakra fluctuation right seems a bit weird. Because it seems to be the same as the chakra wave on Sasuke. Thinking of this, Nagato frowned. How could it be the same? Because the same chakra fluctuation means that they are Sasuke. But Sasuke is already in sight, how could it be? In the next second, the men in black all took off their hoods. However, in the next second, the entire battlefield, countless ninjas, were all dumbfounded. Because these men in black are all clones of Sasuke. It turned out that it was Sasuke's clone who suppressed them before. How can the distinction and avatar be so strong? Although it is Uchiha Sasuke's doppelganger, it's not so strong as. And now Sasuke has his clone to help fight. What's the point? If Sasuke needs it, he can use the clone technique directly instead of having the clones come over. Nagato suddenly laughed. Ha ha ha. I thought you wanted someone to help you. So it's just your avatar. At this moment, even Hashirama and Tobirama were a little speechless. Sasuke actually wanted to hold them back with clones. Although Sasuke is very strong, his avatar will naturally not be weak, but an avatar is an avatar, and it is simply vulnerable. If you want to use these avatars to block them, maybe a few seconds will do. But after a long time, they will not be unable to go even with a clone. Sasuke's idea seems a little too naive. It's just fantastic. Although they are clones, you'd better not underestimate my clone. Saying that, Sasuke raised his hand. One of the avatars did it directly. However, Nagato's smile stopped abruptly when he launched an attack. White light gathered in the clone's hands. Dust escape, stripping the original realm technique. The sudden burst of white light swept straight and swept over several people. When Nagato was stunned, the others were not stunned. Hashirama raised his hand immediately. Wood Style erupted, forming Wood Style's defense, and the dust escape bombarded Wood Style, engulfing Wood Style instantly. Decompose bit atoms directly. But after blocking this blow, Hashirama and others' eyes became much more serious. Doppelganger. Use dust escape? There seems to be nothing wrong with this, but this avatar used the power of dust done to go too far. If it's just shadow clone, then the cloned chakra should be much weaker now. But the chakra of this clone is still strong. Tobirama World launched Flying Thunder God, and after flashing several times in an instant, it came to a position very close to the clone. Straight away ready to attack with Water Style. But in the next second, the thunder and lightning exploded, and the avatar activated by the lightning speed, came directly in front of Tobirama by virtue of its speed, and easily blocked Tobirama's attack with one hand. And catches Tobirama with a backhand, and the thunderbolt discharges. A large number of black thunders swam on Tobirama's body, completely paralyzing Tobirama's whole body. See here. Suddenly Hashirama seemed to think of something. It's not right, these are not just as simple as avatars. Hiruzen froze for a moment, then what is? Wood Style cells, yes, thanks to the cells. Sasuke used the characteristics of Wood Style to separate blood cells, but in the process of cell separation and regrowth, he changed the characteristics of the cells. That Dust Dungeon's clone is probably composed of countless cells that control the changes of the Grandmaster Dust Dungeon. Having said that, Hashirama's face began to look a little dignified. He didn't expect that Sasuke would use the characteristics of Wood-style cells in this way. This kind of thing is probably only able to be done by ninjas with multiple blood inheritance limits. In other words, these avatars can be said to be avatars, but it can be said that they are all real Sasuke. Hearing this, Hiruzen felt that his brain was not enough. What does it mean to be a double and a real Sasuke? They are said to be clones because they are made using the Wood-style clone technique, but they are considered real Sasukes because they are all made up of individual cells. In other words, they are real people. However, once Sasuke releases the Wood-style clone technique, these clones will disappear again. Each clone with different characteristics, when it disappears, will have different attacks. The original Wood-style clone disappears and becomes a tree. But when Sasuke's avatars disappear, for example, the avatar of Dust Escape may explode directly and become a mobile Dust Escape bomb. And the clone of Lightning Style might directly turn into an astonishing Thunderbolt. Nagato also understood a little now. I didn't expect Sasuke to be able to do this. Create this true double. Wait, there are quite a few of these clones in the Wood-style army. Could it be that these clones are all? Okay. Now I can concentrate on you, Nagato. In the next second, the other 4 clones also shot at the same time. Swept directly towards Hashirama and Hiruzen. A Boil-style avatar has amazing power, and at the same time can cast clever mist technique to melt all Wood-style vines trapped in him. Another Wood-style clone can also use Wood-style ninjutsu, although it cannot open Sage Mode, and the power of Shushikuo is not as powerful as Hashirama. But with the Wood-style clone and the Boil-style clone together, it's easy to hold off on Hashirama. And the other 2 clones, a Lava-style clone, plus a Lightning-style clone, stall Tobirama. The last Ice Escape clone against Hiruzen. The guys who got in the way are gone now. Nagato alone needs to face Sasuke, and Sasuke also shot directly. The thunder and lightning called, and the Kusanagi sword appeared in Sasuke's hand in an instant, and the lightning style that fell from the sky struck Nagato. The moment Nagato dodged, Sasuke, who turned into lightning and appeared beside Nagato, slashed directly in Sasuke's direction. Nagato was taken aback suddenly, and Shinra Tenjin broke out. The Kusanagi sword was bounced off. But Shenluo Tianzhong has not completely disappeared, and Sasuke directly used Flying Thunder God to come to Nagato again. Instantly 4 black rods pierced Nagato's body. If it was before, Sasuke would not have had the opportunity to attack twice in a row. But now, the Avatar helped to delay the others. In a one-on-one situation, Sasuke completely crushed Nagato. Even with the tailed beast chakra coat, it is still not the opponent of Sasuke. Punch. Beep. Boil style plus the explosion of Senju's power. A mouthful of blood spurted out from Nagato's mouth. Hateful. The tail of chakra wound around Sasuke, but was suppressed by Sasuke's chakra snake. Nagato wants to attack again. The interference of the black stick prevented his attack rhythm from continuing. And at this moment, Sasuke caught him directly. With one hand around Nagato's neck, chakra devoured. The chakra of the tailed beast is constantly being absorbed. And at the moment of absorbing the tail beast chakra, Sasuke froze. Congratulations to host, successfully won the 8 tails chakra. Chakra enhancement. Yin-Yang escape technique level 5 upgrade mission starts. Upgrade Yin-Yang escape to level 6, you need to obtain tail beast chakra factory. Currently, a copy of 8 tails chakra, 1-9 has been obtained. Beep. Sasuke looked at Nagato who was still struggling, and kicked Nagato violently on the head. He stepped on the ground directly and fiercely. The boom sounded. Dust and smoke surged. Sasuke raised his hand and directly nailed Nagato to the ground with several black sticks. This scene is just like when Nagato dealt with Naruto in the original book. Traps Naruto on the ground. Can't move. Good luck, now it's Nagato's turn. Nagato tried to struggle, but neither tailed beast nor chakra could mobilize. Without chakra's support, Rinnegan's burden on Nagato has become even heavier. Even Nagato felt like it was becoming much harder to breathe. In this situation, Nagato looked up at Sasuke in amazement. Without Seiying's help, the gap between him and Sasuke is so huge. It's over Nagato. Sasuke smiled, and now Sasuke is not only happy because he has Nagato under control. But at the same time, he was very happy because he discovered the conditions for improving Yin-Yang done. Originally, he was still thinking about how to increase the level of Yin-Yang done after upgrading to level 5, and then he could reach the full level to obtain the blood of Otsutsuki. Unexpectedly, he was asked to collect the tail beast chakra. At the same time, it is not to completely absorb the tailed beast into one's body, but only needs a chakra of the tailed beast. This is not a difficult thing for Sasuke. Sasuke looked at Nagato who was struggling with revolving heaven, who was already weak. Just wanted to say thank you. However, the sound of flying paper was heard in the next second. Sasuke knows who it is without even looking. Konan. Do you want to rescue Nagato at this time? Just rely on her? Sasuke looked up. His piercing eyes stared straight at Konan in the air. Let me go. Beep. A black thunderbolt fell from the sky, directly hitting Konan. One strike. Spike. Sasuke curled his lips helplessly. Doesn't he have any points for his own strength? At this level, you want to do it yourself. Even the 5 cages teamed up with themselves can easily sling a Konan. Although the paper technique is very good and looks very beautiful, its power is too small. Even if the paper shuriken hit Sasuke's body, Sasuke's feeling is still not painful. Nothing to worry about. Nagato. You are beyond salvation, just stay aside. Saying that, Sasuke raised his hand, and Konan, who was lying on the ground and breathing heavily, wanted to get up. Suddenly, it was surrounded by the sand that shot up around it. Then the sealed runes appeared on the sand. Seal Konan directly. Although it is not a powerful sealing technique, it is more than enough to deal with a Konan. At least without the help of others, this seal cannot be untied by Konan alone. Turning his head, Sasuke looked at Nagato on the ground. I don't really care about you, but your pair Rinnegan, I am. Very interested. Sasuke reached out to poach Nagato's Rinnegan. But at this time there was a voice. At some point, a person was sitting on a rock not far away. His chakra fluctuations also appeared in an instant. Sasuke froze for a moment. How come? Is it a space-type technique? Obito? Sasuke raised his head slowly, looking into the distance. At this moment, some ninjas also suddenly noticed this figure. They rubbed their eyes. Is it my eyesight? Why does it seem that there is an extra person suddenly? Hey! Don't tell me I haven't noticed yet. When did this appear? In the middle of such a fierce battle, a stranger suddenly appeared. Who would have thought? But soon this person stood up on his own initiative, and his voice spread throughout the battlefield. What a surprise! I didn't expect that among the descendants of the Uchiha clan, there would be such an astonishingly talented person like you. Uchiha, Sasuke. How about creating a new ninja world with us? The moment the voice appeared, Hashirama, who was in the middle of a fierce battle, was startled, and then directly exploded and knocked the two Sasuke clones blocking him into the air. Suddenly turned around and looked in that direction. Motor. Tobirama also recognized the origin of the voice. Suddenly my heart trembled. Was that guy also a pure world reincarnation? But what did he mean by that? Does this battle have anything to do with Madara? At this moment, as Madara's voice spread throughout the battlefield, all the ninjas couldn't help walking in the direction of this voice. Madara. Standing alone on a huge rock, with arms crossed, staring at Sasuke not far below. With a smile on your face. The whole person exudes an unparalleled powerful aura. Although it is the body of impure world reincarnation, Madara gives people the feeling that they can feel strong at first sight. Incomparably strong. This kind of strength makes people seem to have no resistance at all, and it seems that they want to bow their heads involuntarily in front of him. Sasuke looked at the man in front of him, although Sasuke has long been ready to meet him. But when they actually met, Sasuke felt an indescribable wonderful feeling. Heartbeat involuntarily accelerated. This feeling of racing heart, not fear or anything else. Rather excited. Very excited. The legendary man, Uchiha Madara, is finally here. Uchiha Madara. Sasuke's voice was very sonorous, and the moment Sasuke called out the name, countless ninjas were shocked instantly. Madara? Uchiha Madara. Compared with Senju Hashirama, this name may bring more deterrence. Although everyone in the ninja world knows, Uchiha Madara lost to Senju Hashirama. But Uchiha Madara is the representative of evil. He is the existence that almost destroyed the world if he was not born in the same era as Senju Hashirama. Well, no one can match Uchiha Madara. So in terms of deterrence, Uchiha Madara is even more terrifying. Is this man in front of me the legendary Uchiha Madara? Uchiha Madara? The ninja looked at Madara, feeling terrified in his heart. Things seem to be getting worse now. Even this man showed up. Ha 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 ha. Suddenly Madara burst out laughing. He saw Sasuke's serious joy, saw Sasuke's seriously hidden excitement. I also saw Sasuke's strong fighting spirit. A clansman with amazing talents from the younger generation can be said to have suppressed this era, but such a person was equally excited when he saw himself. This shows that you let the other person yearn for you. Uchiha Sasuke, are you coming? Create a new world with me. Madara looked at Sasuke, especially seeing the moment when Sasuke raised his head, revealing Rinnegan. Madara's heart was also extremely shocked. However, considering that Sasuke has wood style, it seems that it is not a strange thing to open Rinnegan. Only, Sasuke's Rinnegan has Gyuyu, reincarnation Sharingan. This seems a bit different. Sasuke is even better than himself. He didn't rely on other people's strength, and simply relied on his own blood and talent to open Rinnegan. If I had the talent of Sasuke back then, the ninja world would definitely be different now. Faced with Uchiha Madara's invitation, countless ninjas held their breath. Although I don't know what this legendary man is going to do, but his invitation is obviously not qualified for him to send out by ordinary people. And a meet. Madara invited Sasuke, which is obviously a way to recognize his strength. Now the ninjas looked at Sasuke. They all held their breath inexplicably, feeling a little uneasy and nervous. What if Uchiha Sasuke agrees? You must know that the Uchiha family's worship of Uchiha Madara, although not on the surface, is quite respected secretly. There is nothing wrong with worshipping the strong. But the problem is, Uchiha Madara, a man, nothing can be too simple when he appears. Sasuke looked at Madara, not expecting to invite himself to his plan. But in Sasuke's view, it's just because Madara is worried that she will be the one who gets in his way. That's why I just invited myself. In fact, He probably didn't really want to let himself build a peaceful world with him. No. I reject. This answer made the ninjas of the United Army breathe a sigh of relief, but they seemed very disappointed. It's a pity. I'm very happy to have such an excellent fellow of your race, but it's a pity that you don't seem to be on the same road as me. Speaking of which, Madara leaned forward slightly, and then looked at Sasuke more solemnly. I'm curious, you, bearing the name of Uchiha, what exactly do you want to do? When asked this question suddenly, Sasuke himself was taken aback for a moment. Is it your own purpose? This guy wants to see if he has any other ambitions. The ninjas of the coalition army are also very curious. What exactly does Uchiha Sasuke want to do? He probably wants to destroy the world or something. Or world domination, or revenge. Or maybe he was doing it for some ulterior secret. However, the answer left them speechless. Purpose. I don't have so many goals to speak of. If there is a purpose, there is only one purpose. Become stronger, become the strongest ninja, become comparable to the existence of God or even. A gleam flashed in Sasuke's eyes. Beyond. Become a god beyond God. What is the purpose of this? So Uchiha Sasuke is a ninja who focuses on becoming stronger. Even doing everything to become stronger. This purpose makes people feel a little unreliable. Madara's first reaction was doubt, but he looked at Sasuke's gaze, and he couldn't feel any deceit from Sasuke's gaze. In other words, what he said was true. Madara felt a little speechless. It turned out that he just wanted to become stronger. It seems that there is nothing else in Sasuke's heart except himself. The ninjas are also feeling confused. If this guy is just trying to get stronger, why are we fighting him? A ninja asked the question. Cloud Shinobi on the side suddenly frowned. This guy is a traitor. He killed 5th Kazekage, wounded 3rd Tsuchikage, and invaded my Cloud Shinobi village. Joined the ninja rebel organization Akatsuki. Why did you fight him? Hearing this, the ninja was a little speechless. These reasons seem to be sufficient. Did you just want to become stronger? But surpassing God? Such a goal is really lofty. As she said that, Madara laughed, and there was even a hint of disdain in the laughter. If Sasuke's purpose is only this, then it seems unworthy to be his enemy. Domination becomes his subordinate. Suddenly Madara opened her eyes and looked at Sasuke. Then. Let's see, Sasuke, whether you have the qualifications to challenge God. Qualifications to challenge God? Why does Madara say to see if Sasuke is qualified to challenge? He obviously means that he regards himself as a god. Boom. In an instant, Susanoo exploded from Madara. Immediately after, Madara and Susanoo joined together. Seeing this action, Sasuke's eyes narrowed slightly. Because this way of sealing is only available to those who perform that technique. Tengai Shinsei. Boom. When Madara finished sealing, all the ninjas were stunned for a moment. It seems that Madara didn't release ninjutsu. I don't see attacking Sasuke either. Is it because the ninjutsu was not successful? Or did he do something else? However, in the next second, there was a deafening roar in the sky. Buzz buzz. Everyone looked up towards the sky. Countless people were stunned. They stared at the sky, watching the huge meteorite falling down. The whole people have been completely petrified, because they saw a scene that they will never forget. A huge meteorite fell from the sky. It even seems to tear a huge hole in the sky. It's like making a big hole in the sky. A shadow appeared in the center of the battlefield, and then spread continuously, covering most of the battlefield in the blink of an eye. At this moment, no matter whether it was Wukage or ordinary ninjas, they all stopped. Look up at the sky. Watch this unbelievable scene. Madara opened her hands and smiled. See if you can challenge God. Then, come and try. Uchiha Sasuke. Madara's voice sounded, echoed across the battlefield. All ninjas understand now. This is the jutsu unleashed by Uchiha Madara. What are you kidding? This? What kind of rice is this? I am afraid that a single technique can easily destroy a village. He is worthy of the man in the legend. But this time even they were affected. Once this meteorite falls, 80% of the people on this battlefield will probably die. Just when the ninjas were terrified and extremely terrified. Suddenly, Sasuke's voice sounded, then come and try. Everyone stared in Sasuke's direction. What I saw in the next second were black thunderbolts erupting directly. The violent chakra fluctuations on Sasuke's body swept away. The amazing torrent of chakra comes directly out. Moment. Even the air seemed to be shaken violently. Sasuke lowered his head slowly, leaned over and drew his sword. At the same time, I tried my best to adjust my breathing with all my strength. At this moment, because of the change of breathing, some wonderful changes have taken place in the flow of chakra on Sasuke's body. Thunder and lightning broke out involuntarily. And the scene was very frightening. A series of thunder snakes spread around Sasuke like water waves, circle after circle. Madara also looked at Sasuke in surprise. What kind of technique is this? Art never seen before. And at this moment Sasuke looked up at the sky. Ultimate Thunder's breath, let's show you its power today. Sage transformation plus the blessing of Chakra's fire, this knife should be my strongest knife. Breath of Thunder, Chi's form, fire, thunder, God. Clang. When Sasuke suddenly drew his sword, he slashed straight to the sky. Visible to the naked eye, when the Kusanagi sword passed through the space, there seemed to be strange ripples. For a moment the light seemed to be distorted. Sasuke's Kusanagi sword is like slashing across the water. The thunder that erupted in an instant was not so amazing, it was just as thin as a silk thread. In the blink of an eye, it disappeared into the void. A faint storm instantly burst from Sasuke's feet. In just an instant, the diffusion was swept out of the huge pit in an instant. Wind. It's just like a breeze blowing on the face, without any power, but this moment makes people feel icy cold. Obviously there is no power in it, and the next second. The air explosion caused by the blade tearing open the air exploded instantly. Exploded together with this sound, and the huge meteorite that was falling in the sky. The meteorite was cut in two. In an instant, it became two halves. At this moment, everyone opened their mouths wide and looked at the sky in horror. Such a huge meteorite was chopped into two halves in an instant. The moment a picture-like appeared, everyone felt their scalps go numb. Immediately afterwards, thunder and lightning erupted along the incision of the meteorite, and the roaring thunder and lightning rushed straight into the sky like a black dragon. Thunder and lightning spread rapidly at the same time, covering the entire meteorite in the blink of an eye. One knife. While cutting off Tengai Shinsei, it can even be said to directly destroy it. Accompanied by the flickering of thunder, pieces of meteorites of different sizes directly turned into countless tiny gravels. At the same time, after turning into fine gravel, it seemed to be directly obliterated into slag. Instant moment. The entire battlefield fell silent, except for the raging thunder and lightning in the sky, and the roar of the howling wind mixed together. Sasuke slowly put away the Kusanagi sword, raised his head and looked at Madara, who also showed shock in his eyes. This knife also made Madara amazed that he did not expect that someone could block Tengai Shinsei in such a way. Madara noticed Sasuke's Rinnegan. Originally, Madara wanted to see how strong Sasuke's Rinnegan was. But now Rinnegan's power has not yet been discovered, but he has seen the more terrifying side of Sasuke first. With such terrifying sword skills, I am afraid that there will never be another person in the entire ninja world. Thinking of this, Madara slowly lowered her head and looked at Sasuke in front of her. He is indeed an outstanding descendant of the same family. If it were him, Uchiha Madara would definitely not be able to do such a thing. This situation is just unbelievable. What a terrible cut. What kind of power is this? Even meteorites are instantly destroyed. Has this guy never used his full strength before? The voices of the ninjas rose and fell. Everyone was shocked by Sasuke's knife. Even the soul is afraid of Sasuke. Such a person is really terrible. Madara looked at Sasuke. As expected of me, I belong to the Uchiha clan. Your strength is indeed amazing. Sasuke smiled. That's all, it's nothing at all. However, Madara suddenly smiled, severing the meteorite with one knife, and disappearing with countless rags. Your power is probably unprecedented in the ninja world. It is indeed qualified to challenge God. Speaking of which, Madara's smile returned to its previous appearance, with a trace of rebellious arrogance in the calmness. As if to despise everything. However, in the next second, Madara continued to say, the first one can be destroyed, so what about the second one? These words surprised the ninjas on the edge of the giant pit. Instinctively raised his head. The second meteorite is slowly falling, and compared to the first one, the second one is even more terrifying. The ninjas were dumbfounded. At this moment, Wukage also turned pale. Tsunade. Uchiha Madara. Fourth Raikage, is this guy a real god? Third Tsuchikage. One is not enough, there is a second one. Terumi Mei. This meteorite is probably. Sasuke can block the first one, but not necessarily the second one. After all, In such a short period of time, it is impossible for Sasuke to launch such a terrifying slash twice in a row. And it is true. After all, let Sasuke launch Thunder's Breath twice in a row, Chi-G-type Fire Raijin. Not even Sasuke. The state of Sage transformation plus the outbreak of Chakra's fire, the load on Sasuke's body is quite huge. Under such circumstances, it is impossible to cast continuously. But the second Tengai Shinsei fell, and in this case, Sasuke would not back down. Still have to go straight up. Now if you want to kill the second meteorite, the normal method obviously won't work. Then there is only. Sasuke raised his head and Mangekyo Sharingan turned quickly. At the same time, the reincarnation Sharingan also began to spin rapidly. Pupil power exploded completely. Susanoo. In an instant, the full body of Susanoo unfolded, spread its wings and soared into the sky, and swept straight towards the second meteorite in the sky. Madara froze for a moment. Not bad. I can release the full body of Susanoo in an instant, and it's so smooth. The pupil power is very strong. Talking about Susanoo in the air, he swung his purple long knife and slashed at the meteorite falling straight down in the air. This time Sasuke's Senju chakra broke out. Black streaks appeared on Susanoo's appearance, like Amaterasu flames. Immortal Susanoo mode was turned on, and then Sasuke directly launched flame control, because the flame instantly burned on the blade. One knife. At a speed visible to the naked eye, the meteorite is divided into two. However, the power of the blade explosion this time is not enough to completely kill the meteorite. So a little help is needed. Sasuke directly activates Amaterasu and flame control. The two pupil techniques were cast at the same time, with full firepower. For a moment, black flames spread rapidly on the meteorite, burning the meteorite crazily under the control of flame control. As the meteorite gradually fell, the meteorite that was cut in half received another knife from Sasuke. Go directly from 2 to 4. Immediately afterwards, it changed from 4 yuan to 16 yuan. Cut to this size, the fire of Amaterasu was more than capable of incinerating the meteorites before they hit the ground. Sasuke's Susanoo landed firmly, plop. There was a roar. Sasuke's son looked at Madara in the distance. 16 small black fireballs fell slowly behind Sasuke at this moment, instantly making Sasuke's momentum a little frightening. Even Madara felt oppressed by Sasuke's strong presence. It's been a long time since I felt this way. Even Hashirama couldn't make him feel that way, but Zuo felt the pressure today. It's been a long time since I felt such pressure. Madara. Getting a little excited already. After all, no one has ever put Madara under pressure like Sasuke. But in the current situation, Madara couldn't help but want to do it. I want to test for myself how strong Sasuke is. However, at this moment, a rapid breaking wind sounded in the distance, and in an instant, a figure fell directly in front of Madara. Seeing this figure, a smile appeared on Madara's face. When the smoke cleared, the figure revealed in the smoke was Senju Hashirama. Looking at Madara in front of him, Senju Hashirama looked very surprised. Madara, even you, said Hashirama's body uncontrollable self, turned around. And at this moment Hashirama noticed the difference in Madara. Although it was also controlled by impure world reincarnation, Madara didn't seem to be controlled by anyone. What the hell does this happen? Thinking of this, Hashirama felt something was wrong. Madara. You are not charged. While Hashirama was asking, suddenly Madara grabbed Hashirama's shoulder directly instead. Lama. I didn't expect that we would fight side by side again one day. This sentence made Hashirama look a little bit wrong. He frowned. It seems that I will recall the memories of the past, and I am invincible with Uchiha Madara. The two most powerful families in the ninja world at that time, the Uchiha family and the Senju family, united. Afterwards, there was no one in the entire ninja world who was their opponent. No matter who the enemy is. In the end, the troubled times were pacified and a powerful Konoha village was established. But, in the end, the two parted ways, with different goals, and each moved towards their own goals. Never fought together again. And now, unexpectedly, because of impure world reincarnation, they could fight side by side again. For a moment Hashirama's emotions seemed complicated. However, his mood does not affect his battle. After all, Hashirama is not under his control. He looked in Sasuke's direction and released ninjutsu directly. In an instant, wood style erupted, forming a huge wood style vine man strangling towards Sasuke. Sasuke raised his hand and the same wood style swept away instantly. In an instant, the wood styles collided with each other, and the entanglements of the wood style vines collided with each other, and the roar sounded instantly. Madara watched Hashirama start to do it, and at the same time saw that Sasuke was able to match Hashirama on wood style. It's just amazing, can Sasuke be able to do such a thing by combining wood style? He doesn't have a Geto statue yet, how on earth does he do that? But now is not the time to think about it. Madara seemed very excited. Lama, let us fight side by side again. As he spoke, he directly raised his hand to make a seal. Fire style, the mighty fire is extinguished. Puff. Boom. The flames that swept over in an instant swept towards Sasuke crazily like a raging wave. Fire style, which once directly suppressed all ninjas with one ninjutsu, is now equally astonishingly powerful. All the ninjas were stunned just after it was released. The fire style ninjutsu was able to explode with such power. Simply horrible. However, facing Madara's fire style, Sasuke directly used water style. Water style, waterfall technique. The instantaneous burst of water rushed towards the flames. The flames and water collided to form a white mist that enveloped the entire battlefield almost instantly. Madara turned her head to look at Hashirama at this moment, and Hashirama also understood Madara's meaning from Madara's eyes. They have fought side by side countless times in the past. Naturally, there is no need to say more. Hashirama can also understand what Madara means. In an instant, Hashirama took a step, and the whole person rushed out like a rocket. The two quickly shuttled through the fog. One left and one right at the same time quickly approached Sasuke. Bang bang. The attacks of the two were directly blocked by Sasuke. Although standing in place without moving, coupled with the occlusion of fog, obstructing the line of sight. But Sasuke's lightning-style Heartnet can also sense the chakra fluctuations of the two, let alone in the state of Sage mode. Sasuke has extraordinary chakra perception ability. Even with the white mist blocking it, Sasuke can easily grasp the specific positions of the two. Although the attacks of the two were blocked, when the physical skills of the two were not weak, the cooperation with each other made it impossible for Sasuke to find a loophole to fight back for a while. Can only barely maintain a tie. Boom boom boom. Accompanied by the sound of fierce fighting, the three of them were directly entangled and rushed out of the white mist. Everywhere they went, the ground crumbled. Whether it is Hashirama or Madara, the attacks of the two cooperate with each other, leaving no gap at all. Although a certain action has a flaw to be found. But another person immediately made up for this flaw, leaving Sasuke with nowhere to start. Even a counterattack can be easily resolved by two people. Watching Sasuke fight and retreat, as if he was suppressed. In this way, it is incredible for the ninjas of the United Army to suppress Sasuke by virtue of physical skills. Like hell. In this case, the jaws of countless ninjas were shocked. Since Sasuke shot, I am afraid that no one can push Sasuke to this level in terms of physical skills. The two deserve to be legendary ninjas. One Uchiha Madara, one Senju Hashirama. The god of ninja and the man of legend. The two teamed up, although it was not generally scary. What a powerful physical skill. Kid, you are straight to Sharingan, not bad. As Madara said, Susanoo suddenly stopped and exploded. For a moment, Susanoo swung the curved blade and slashed directly at Sasuke. Directly slashing at Sasuke, the speed was almost completed in the blink of an eye. At this moment Sasuke also turns on Susanoo. Beep. There was a roar, the collision of blades, and the two Susanoo wrestled with each other. But at the same time, the huge wooden golem rose from the ground, jumped over Susanoo, and punched Sasuke directly. Wooden golem and Susanoo join forces. It's almost like an enlarged version of Hashirama and Madara. Sasuke's eyes narrowed slightly. At the same time, the wooden golem that appeared directly from the ground in front of Susanoo also grabbed the fist of the wooden golem in the air. Drag it straight to the ground. He stomped hard on it. Bang bang. Boom. The battle between the three suddenly became wooden golem versus wooden golem, Susan. The storm caused by the battle is even more terrifying, and the movement of the battle is even more frightening. But even if Sasuke controls wooden golem and Susanoo at the same time, he is not at a disadvantage. But it is true that the combination of Madara and Hashirama is surprisingly powerful, which is somewhat beyond Sasuke's expectations. Being able to maintain a tie with him is already very good. Lama. It seems that your skills have not regressed much. Hashirama smiled, and turned to look at Madara. Your reaction was a lot. Hearing this, Madara smiled. I haven't adapted to this body yet, it will be fine soon. After all, Madara's previous battle in Konoha ended without being serious at all. So strictly speaking, there is no effort at all. In this case, he hasn't adapted well to the body of impure world reincarnation. And Senju Hashirama has already perfectly adapted to the current state because of Sasuke's pressure. The action is indeed a little faster than Madara. The two glanced at each other. You haven't forgotten the trick before, Llama Hash. Hashirama smiled, of course. Hearing this, Madara turned to look at Sasuke. Let this brat taste it, our trick is powerful. Speaking of which, Madara directly controlled Susan to raise his hands, and Yasaka Guyu exploded in an instant. Throw it straight in the direction of Sasuke. A Guyu directly hits like a streamer in the air. Sasuke will not be frightened, he directly controls Susanoo, and throws the same one directly to Tomo. Boom. The roar of the explosion resounded in the air. 447's Hashirama, controlling Wooden Golem, came directly behind Sasuke. Boom boom boom. The sound of Wooden Golem stomping on the ground was so loud that it was hard for Sasuke not to notice it. Dominate the Wooden Golem to come across from Hashirama. Hashirama smiled, and the Wooden Golem under his feet went straight to fighting again with Sasuke's trapped people. And at this moment, there was a smile in Madara's eyes. Wooden Golem and Susanoo. At the same time, he made a strange move, directly grabbing Sasuke's master and Susan. Not even hesitating to be hit by Sasuke's attack. In the next second, the two jumped out directly from the top of Wooden Golem's head and Susanoo's head. Swipe straight towards Sasuke and Susanoo, wood style. The world tree is coming. Hashirama's voice sounded behind him. In an instant, Susanoo under Sasuke's feet was entangled by wood-style vines. Sasuke wanted to use wood-style to fight back, but in the next second, the wood-style vine man directly transformed into a wood dragon, entwining Sasuke's Susanoo tightly. At this moment Madara directly hit Susanoo's chakra and kicked Sasuke hard in the chest. The moment Sasuke defended with both hands, his body was kicked out. Behind him, Hashirama was waiting for Sasuke on the ground. Raised a fist. The strange power of the Senju clan erupted immediately. It hit Sasuke's back instantly. Sasuke lifts off. The combination of the two surprised Sasuke. Injury is not a problem, this level of attack is not enough to hurt Sasuke. But at this moment, Sasuke's body was flying, and Sasuke hadn't landed yet. Intense chakra fluctuations surged below, wood style, fire style. When the voices of the two sounded, Sasuke suddenly turned around. Below, both Hashirama and Madara released ninjutsu at the same time. A flame. A wood style, wood dragon technique. Fire style, great fireball technique, boom. In an instant, the flame and the wooden dragon collided in the air, and the explosion of the flame ignited the sleepy dragon. It turned into a wooden dragon burning with flames, and charged straight toward Sasuke. The speed made Sasuke slightly stunned. At this moment, the corners of Sasuke's mouth rose slightly. I'm afraid we will never see such a wonderful combination of ninjutsu. Swish. Flying Thunder God technique. Sasuke, who was transferred through Flying Thunder God in an instant, appeared just behind second Hokage Senju Tobirama. Also Sarutobi Hiruzen. Sasuke froze for a moment, it meant that they appeared here. My avatar has been killed. Right. After such a long time, the avatar has no way to use the black stick. There is no way to limit the two, so if they continue to fight, it is not a problem for the two with immortal bodies to defeat the clone. I got you. Sasuke. Suddenly Sarutobi Hiruzen grabbed Sasuke's hands. And the second Hokage Tobirama, who was behind this moment, clamped the kunai in front of Sasuke's neck. Don't even think about running now, it's over. Uchiha. Sasuke. Tobirama put a hand on Sasuke's shoulder and walked. The two held Sasuke tightly, and it seemed as if they had captured Sasuke. Sasuke probably understood at this time. Looking back in the direction of Hashirama and Madara, the two stared at Sasuke with a faint smile on their faces. It seemed that they were just waiting for this moment. Good. Knowing that he can use Flying Thunder God to teleport to avoid the attack, but he still wants to blast himself into the sky just for this one. Second generation has the Flying Thunder God technique, which can also instantly capture its own position and approach it with Flying Thunder God. Tactics are not bad. But, Sasuke looked at the haughty second Hokage Tobirama. Do you think this thing can kill me? Sasuke smiled. Tobirama frowned. Although it's just a handful of kunai, the kunai in my hand can kill anyone. Don't try to resist Sasuke. Hiruzen also began to say, you Grandmaster Taijutsu should understand that the way I hold your arms, no matter how hard you exert, I can break your arms immediately. A ninja loses his hands, and he can fight again. How much is left? Watching Sasuke being captured, the ninjas of the United Ninja Army were stunned. This. Captured Uchiha Sasuke alive? But why capture Uchiha Sasuke alive? What are these guys trying to do? Madara walked towards Sasuke, with Hashirama at his side. The two now have the same smile on their faces, and they seem to be very satisfied with the result. Now ask you one last time. Sasuke, together, or do you really want to choose death? Hearing this, Sasuke laughed and looked down at kunai in front of his neck. He took another look at Hiruzen, who grabbed his arms. Sasuke laughed. My answer is still, no. I reject. Hearing this, Madara looked at Sasuke very regretfully. It seems that there is no other way. In order to ensure my plan, I can only kill you here. Farewell, queen of the same clan with extraordinary talents. Unfortunately, you were born in the wrong era. As Madara's voice fell, Tobirama's kunai cut Sasuke's neck instantly, and Hiruzen broke Sasuke's arms at the same time. The moment they let go, swish, Sasuke's body disappeared immediately. Appeared in the distance. This is the flying thunder god used before dying. Madara smiled. Although flying thunder god is fast, he is not invincible, little Sasuke. He seemed disappointed with Sasuke's final choice. Died? Sasuke is dead. His throat was cut in an instant, so there should be no possibility of surviving at all. Countless ninjas stared wide-eyed, and it was difficult to accept this result for a while. Sasuke is so strong, was finally killed. However, all of them were cage-level ninjas, Hokage of Konoha, the top ninjas in the entire ninja world. It seems to be an honor to be killed by them. Master Sasuke. Kimimaro, who was still being entangled in the distance, turned his head and looked in the direction of Sasuke. However, the next second, Sasuke, who was lying on the ground, got up nonchalantly. Gently patted the ash on his body. I've said it all, it's impossible to kill me based on this alone. Not dead? For a moment, Madara's smile froze. Just now he saw Sasuke's throat cut open with his own eyes. There is no possibility of him surviving. Back from the dead? No, even the outsider Rinne Tensai technique is not meant to be used by oneself. This kid. Did he use illusion, or Izanagi? No, that's not like Izanagi, definitely not. They clapped their hands lightly. Sasuke looked at Madara, who looked astonished in the distance. A smile appeared on his face. Looking at Madara very calmly, what? Do you think this is an illusion? With this degree of injury, I don't need to use illusion. Hearing this, Madara didn't know what to say. If it wasn't an illusion, then what happened just now? Why? Why didn't Sasuke die? Even though his throat was cut, he was still safe and sound. Could it be that this guy also possesses some kind of undead secret technique? Or did Sasuke develop this weird secret technique himself? Thinking of this, Madara froze in place for a moment. To see something like this happen before your eyes. Everyone in the United Ninja Army was also stunned. Obviously just now they were still lamenting that Sasuke had died. It can be revived directly on the spot in the next second. What's the matter? These people probably don't know what yin-yang escape technique is. Sasuke's yin and yang escape technique, creation technique, can create anything instantly with just one thought. Now adding Sasuke's yin-yang done nature transformation level is already so high. There is no problem in instantly recovering from his injuries. At the same time, there is basically only one way to kill Sasuke. That is to instantly make Sasuke's brain lose the ability to think. Then maybe kill him. But it is very difficult to do this kind of thing, especially facing the strength of Sasuke. It is even more difficult. Madara. Suddenly Sasuke's voice sounded. Madara was awakened by Sasuke, and he looked up at Sasuke in the distance. At this moment, my heart seems to have collapsed in the world view. A person who was already doomed to die unexpectedly came back to life, and it was resurrected instantly. Even impure world reincarnation is not so convenient. What exactly is this technique? I know that you have mastered a lot of powerful power, but you just mastered it, and you never thought about where these powers come from. Or continue to study on these forces to develop a more powerful pressure. In my opinion, you have only mastered the power that was once mastered. You are only a good student, and you will never be a good teacher. Suddenly Madara frowned. You mean to say that you have not only mastered those powers, but also continued to expand on the basis of these powers? Hearing this, Sasuke nodded. Yes, you can say that. Saying that, Sasuke raised his hand, and a ball of flames surged in Sasuke's hand. Flame. The power generated by the chakra nature transformation of the fire attribute. Ordinary people will probably only master the basic fire attribute nature transformation, and they will never continue to study the stronger nature transformation. I'm different. I'm very curious about what Huo's ultimate is, so I not only mastered the 5-sense ninjutsu, but also polished the 5-sense ninjutsu to ultimate, so that there is no possibility of improvement. Beep. Suddenly Sasuke just threw the flame lightly. The instant explosion is extremely terrifying. The ninjas who specialize in fire style were stunned for a moment. This is the secret of my powerful technique. My strength is not just because my chakra volume has increased to a level comparable to that of a tailed beast. Hearing this, Hiruzen was extremely shocked. Sasuke. More worthy of the title of Doctor of Jonin art than himself. Even the most basic nature transformation, Sasuke was able to calm down and practice hard. This is something Hiruzen can't do. When he was practicing, Hiruzen didn't have the patience to polish all the nature transformations. After all, I was young at that time, who wouldn't want to learn powerful ninjutsu as soon as possible? Thinking of this, Hiruzen also sighed silently. Even if he really spends so much time polishing each skill carefully, I'm afraid he can't do it like Sasuke. In addition to the 5 escapes, I also mastered the yin escape and the yang escape. With this technique, you can't kill me. This is the divine creation technique, the yin-yang dungeon creation technique. Hear Sasuke say the name of this technique. Immediately Madara froze in place. He naturally knew about yin-yang dun. Also mastered. But, he never thought of using these 2 escape techniques to develop any technique. At the same time, I never thought about practicing. Perhaps strictly speaking, since becoming famous in the ninja world, Madara has already forgotten such things as cultivation. Recalling the scene of practicing when I was young, Madara seemed to understand in a trance what she was missing. The Sasuke in front of me has been growing with this mentality all along. Not to mention Sasuke's talent, just this perseverance also makes Madara feel admiration. It is worthy of being the most outstanding younger generation of the Uchiha clan. You really surprised me, Uchiha Sasuke. It's a pity that I was not born in the same era as you, but I am very fortunate to have met us in this era. Your strength is indeed amazing. I seem to understand now why you can activate Rinnegan. Hearing this, everyone froze for a moment, turning to look at Sasuke suddenly. Could it be that this guy was able to activate Rinnegan because of his cultivation? The power of Sharingan has never been the power of curse at all, it's just the real secret that you haven't mastered yet. Enhance pupil power through practice, and then use pupil power to open higher level pupil techniques. Even evolved from 3 Tomo Sharingan to Mangekyo Sharingan. It's not impossible either. Hearing this, Madara nodded, thinking of her own experience of opening her eyes. If the original self knew about this, the result might be different. It's too late to even know now, but it doesn't matter. It seems that it is very difficult to beat you today. Madara smiled. However, it doesn't matter. Even if we can't defeat you, we can catch you. At the same time, you are not our real target. It was Nagato's will to fight against Sasuke, but now, Obito is ruling Akatsuki. Obito doesn't look like he's going to fight Sasuke. While talking, Madara opened her hands. It's about time. Uchiha Sasuke, a real ninja war is coming. You can watch as much as you want. If you just want to become stronger, you don't need to get involved. Hearing this, Sasuke smiled. If it was before, it is true that he could watch the battle quietly, but now, there is no other way. Sasuke needs a copy of chakra for all tailed beasts. Only then can the nature transformation of yin-yang dun be raised to level 6. Just when Sasuke was about to speak, suddenly the ground started shaking. Madara turned her head and looked in the direction of the United Ninja Army. After watching this scene for so long, it should be their turn to participate now. Let's start. Boom boom boom. Suddenly there was an earth-shattering roar on the ground. White Zetsu emerged from the ground one by one. The real main force of the White Zetsu army appeared. Also there is the ninja force that was reincarnation by Impure World. Also came along with the White Zetsu army. Although the White Zetsu army that came from Konoha was far smaller than the combined army of Jonin. But among the army of White Zetsu, those ninjas of Impure World reincarnation one after another, made the ninjas feel scared. After all, these are heavyweights who have become famous in the ninja world. Although not as brilliant as Yingying, it is definitely not to be underestimated. The first is the Jinchuriki of the past dynasties. These dead Jinchuriki also have the chakra of the tailed beast, although it is only a part. Erwei consists of wooden golem, 3 tails Yagura, 4 tails Lasun, 5 tails Han, 6 tails Foam, 7 tails Puff, 8 tails Killer Bee, and fake 9 tails Jinchuriki, Golden Horn and Silver Horn. Seeing the appearance of these ninjas, the ninjas of the United Army suddenly felt their scalps go numb. Just kidding about these former Jinchuriki, even if they lost the tail beast, their combat effectiveness is not too weak. After all, a guy who is too weak can't control the tailed beast at all. There are also ninja hunting, Hakura, and Troy from the blood succession boundary. And the famous ninja. Hanzo, Chiyo, Momochi Zabuza, Ringo Yu Yuri, Sukusa Nobeto, Kuri Sakushimaru, Marashi Jinhachi, Suikayama Blowfish Demon, Demon Moon Full Moon, Kato Dan, Hyuga Hazashi, Kyugen, Nobu, Nakayoshi, etc. The strength of these ninjas is not to mention comparable to cage-level ninjas, but also fully enough to be called elite Jonin level. It can be regarded as top-level combat power. And not to mention there are other Chunin Genin. In terms of numbers, these ninjas from Impure World Reincarnation alone may be enough to fight against the combined ninja army. Also add more than 70,000 white Zetsu troops. Such an army slowly approached, but the sense of oppression already made countless ninjas feel their legs go weak. And at this time, Madara brought a group of Hokage, as well as Raikage, Mizukage, Tsuchikage, and Kazekage, to the front of the white Zetsu army. The momentum instantly filled up. Madara sat on a huge rock directly in front of her, with her arms crossed. Alright. Now as the real ninja war begins. Everyone. Our goal is 9 tails. Your goal is to protect 9 tails. Let's see whether you can hold 9 tails or we can capture 9 tails. Saying that, Madara glanced at Sasuke who was on the side. Give up fighting Sasuke, then Sasuke probably won't attack them either. Let's deal with Sasuke after finishing the 9 tails first. As for the 3 tails Jinchuriki, let's put it aside for now. The power of 9 tails is much more important than that of 3 tails. Allied ninjas. Darui, Ching, Luju, Konkuro, Kuroto and others have serious expressions on their faces. The ninjas of the 5 major countries are really under great pressure now. Although he didn't face Uchiha Sasuke, he could face the legendary man. Coupled with Senju Hashirama who was also killed by Impure World Reincarnation, the monsters that once quelled the troubled times are also in the enemy's camp. The ninjas of the United Army had no hope of victory in this ninja war. Wukage's condition is not good, this battle, how to fight, what to fight. At this moment, the 5 cages had just experienced a fierce battle. Tsunade was still guarding Naruto, Gaara and others sighed helplessly. I don't know, Mr. Hokage, how far has the plan mentioned? 4th Raikage is also very worried about sending a former ninja to carry out such an important plan, if Uchiha Itachi can't find Yakushi Kabuto, or if he can't let the ninja of Impure World Reincarnation release the control. So today it seems that our 5 major countries will be destroyed here. Speaking of 3rd Tsuchikage, Onogi's face turned pale. I have experienced countless battles, big and small, but I never thought that the most difficult battle would be encountered at this age. Terumi Mei sighed silently, no matter what, we have no way out. Having said that, everyone else raised their heads again and looked forward. Look at the enemy in the distance, then let's get started. The 4 walked forward. And at this moment, looking at the 2 sides that are about to break out in a fierce battle. Sasuke came directly to Kimimara's side, White Zetsu's remnant troops faded away, the Ninja 7 and Hidan and others all left. Look at Kimimaro. Sasuke put his hand directly on Kimimaro's body. Immediately start to devour Kimimaro's tailed beast chakra. Kimimaro looked at Sasuke with some doubts. He was not worried about what Sasuke would do, but thought that Master Sasuke lacked chakra. The battle just now was indeed too fierce. It is normal for Master Sasuke to lack chakra. But Sasuke stopped after only absorbing part of the 3 tails chakra. Master Sasuke, if you want, you can take all of my chakra. Do you think I lack chakra? Hearing this, Kimimaro was stunned for a moment, and indeed he looked at Sasuke as if he lacked chakra. On the contrary, he is full of energy and does not look tired. Just need a little tail beast chakra from you. After speaking, Sasuke glanced at the direction of Itonin village. Since it has started over there, you can also go and bring our real power. Hearing this, Kimimaro smiled. I understand. As he said that, he turned around and left with Chongwu, Shueui, Honglian and others. Watching Kimimaro and others leave, Sasuke turned around and looked in the direction of the Ninja United Army. Congratulations to host for getting a copy of Three Tails Chakra. Chakra 29, required to upgrade Yin Yang Escape to level 6. The next step is Nine Tails Chakra and Naruto's Ashura Chakra analysis. When Madara is not entangled with himself, the result is Nine Tails Chakra. Naruto. Originally, Sasuke wanted to use Namikaze Minato to obtain Nine Tails Chakra. It's a pity that Minato was taken away by Naruto when he was fighting. But it is clear that Naruto wants the power of the extreme Yin and Yang Nine Tails Chakra. In this way, Naruto's combat power will become even more terrifying. Sasuke didn't want to wait any longer. Lightning style, Lei Shun. Crack. The thunder that exploded in an instant made Sasuke turn into a black lightning, and flew straight towards the direction of the Ninja United Army. In the blink of an eye, it raged directly in Naruto's direction. The United Army ninjas who were getting ready to fight Madara, looked up at the flashing black thunder in a daze, and had no time to stop it. Madara was also taken aback. In this direction, Sasuke's goal is Nine Tails. Damn. This guy wants to grab Nine Tails while they're dragging the combine? No. Can't let Sasuke succeed. Give it to me. With a wave of Madara's hand, the army of White Zetsu and the army of Impure World Reincarnation were directly healed. At the same time, second Hokage came to Madara's side. Sasuke. Nine Tails, I won't give it to you. The next second, Madara disappeared directly with Tobirama. On the other side, Sasuke in the air was still blocked by the ninja behind him. The one who blocked Sasuke was Hyuga Hiyashi. A mountain-breaking blow directly blocked Sasuke's way, causing Sasuke to fall from the air. Lightning surged from Sasuke, who landed on the ground, and Sasuke raised his head to look at Hiyashi in front of him. The Hyuga clan, unexpectedly, Hiyashi, a member of the Hyuga clan, would block him here. Sasuke looked up at Hiyashi. Is Mr. Hiyashi trying to block me too? It was said that Hiyashi made the 8 trigrams palms gesture. Of course, the Hyuga clan are also Konoha ninjas. No matter what you want to do in the past, as Konoha's ninja, I will not let you succeed. Looks like he's made up his mind. In this case, Sasuke will not hold back. Hands up. With a light tap of the fingertips, lightning suddenly erupted from the fingertips and flew towards Hiyashi. Revolving heaven. Rapid chakra eruption, coupled with high-speed rotation. The lightning was bounced off by chakra. Sasuke was stunned for a moment. Hiyashi's amazing strength is not weak. He was able to block his own lightning style. But that's all. 8 trigrams 128 palms. Suddenly Hiyashi approached Sasuke quickly. The gentle fist method explodes instantly. At this moment, all the ninjas around looked at Sasuke, seeing the head of the Hyuga clan make a move, and all stared at this place with wide-eyed eyes. After all, the Hyuga clan and the Uchiha clan used to be the 2 major ninja clans. Basically, the people of the 2 races also dislike each other, and even fight all kinds of things in the open and in the dark. When the Konoha Chunin took the exam, Sasuke, who represented the last blood of the Uchiha clan, had a fierce battle with Neji, who represented the genius of the Hyuga clan. Unfortunately, in the end Sasuke defeated Neji with overwhelming strength. And it was crushing in all directions, without giving Neji any chance to fight back. That battle is still fresh in the memory of many Konoha shinobi, but now the patriarch of the Hyuga clan, and now the strongest person of the Hyuga clan. The battle with Uchiha is also exciting. Although to a large extent the 2 are no longer at the same level. But for the question of whether Hyuga can restrain Uchiha, the ninjas still have expectations. And Sasuke looked at Hiyashi, who was about to use the gentle fist method against him. He smiled lightly and took a step back. The moment the opponent slapped his palm, he dodged the attack. At the same time, the gentle fist 8 trigrams 128 palms continued to erupt. No matter how fast Hiyashi's palm is, Sasuke can be slow. The easy dodge made it impossible for Hiyashi to hit with a single palm. The moment when the last blow of 128 palms exploded directly. 64 palms were struck in an instant, and it was impossible for an ordinary ninja to dodge them. But Sasuke dodged easily. Just shaking his body a few times, Hiyashi's attack was a little bit worse each time. The moment Hiyashi stopped, Sasuke stepped forward and grabbed him by the neck. He directly lifted the other party up. Mr. Hiashi's palm technique is very strong, but his speed is too good. Let go of the palm of the hand, although Sasuke did not roll his eyes, but the skill of releasing chakra through the palm of the hand to hit chakra into the enemy's body is not that difficult. Directly knocked Hiashi back more than 10 meters. It kept sliding on the ground and brought up a series of dust and smoke. The winner was decided in a blink of an eye, and the ninjas around all involuntarily took a step back, and no one dared to stop Sasuke. And Naruto is not far ahead. Sasuke moved on. Suddenly there was a sound of breaking wind. Sasuke stopped immediately. A kunai flew in front of Sasuke. Sasuke grabbed the kunai directly. He turned his head and looked in the direction of Kawudu. Sarutobi Asuma. The guy who didn't die due to his own changes caused the plot to change, and now he ran out again. Uchiha Sasuke, we won't let you go any further. Talking among the crowd, sleepy Jonin appeared one after another. In addition to Jonin, who Sasuke can't name, there are Yuhihong, Mitarashi Anko, Moonlight Hayate, Aburame clan, Inuzuka clan, Akamichi Choza and so on. These are the top Jonin in Konoha. Now they all want to block themselves. It looks like a good idea, but Sasuke doesn't care about them at all. Stop wasting time. You can't stop me. Sarutobi Asuma, don't be too self-righteous. We are Konoha's Jonin anyway. Even if we are not as good as Hokage, we won't just let you go. As he said that, Asuma took out his chakra knife directly, and the wind attribute chakra burst out. The power of these two chakra knives is very strong. But Sasuke was cold, and directly breathed out on the kunai who had just caught it. Wind style, vacuum sword. Raising his vacuum sword, Sasuke hit Asuma who was rushing head-on. The collision of the blade wind Hefeng instantly caused an astonishing storm. Asuma was directly shocked back. In the next second, Sasuke raised his hand and clapped, wind style, beast palm. Boom. A gust of wind hit Asuma head-on, and the wind blade formed directly left several blood marks on Asuma's body. Turning his head, Sasuke felt someone trying to pry his chakra. Is this planning to use illusion to deal with yourself? Sasuke laughed. Teacher Shi-Hahong, is this courting death? Turning his head, Sasuke's eyes locked directly on Kurenai Yuhi. Sharingan illusion. For a moment, Yuhi-Hong felt as if her head had exploded. Passed out directly to the ground. Mitarashi Anko, who quickly supported her, turned to look at Sasuke. Hulker with many snake hands. A large number of snakes drilled out from the cuffs, biting towards Sasuke. Raise your hand. Lightweight. The thunder and lightning immediately killed all the snakes, and by the way, Sasuke instantly changed the attributes of the kunai in his hand and covered it with lightning style. Throwing it directly towards Mitarashi Anko, lightning style kunai stabbed her in the shoulder, and she was directly paralyzed by lightning and couldn't move. Sasuke stepped over with a blank expression. At this moment Anko's eyes widened rapidly. Good. So strong. Although I have seen Sasuke's battle, it is only when I face it in person that I can more deeply understand this irresistible strength. When Sasuke jumped over her, Anko saw a scene that shocked her even more. The Aburame family, the Inuzuka family, Moonlight Hayate and others, all fell to the ground. When did Sasuke make the move just now? She didn't see it at all. The line of sight just disappeared for a while, and Sasuke shot at the same time to defeat them, Konoha's Jonin, and even elite Jonin level guys? How can this be? Sasuke thought that no one would disturb him anymore. But after defeating Hiashi and others, someone still blocked himself. Uchiha Sasuke, I will never let you pass. The glory of those who bet on Konoha Shinobi. Boom. A strong momentum erupted and directly charged towards Sasuke. Looking at the person in front of him, Sasuke sighed helplessly. Konoha's Blue Beast, Might Guy. Stand in front of Sasuke. At this time, not far behind Sasuke's side, Madara also rushed here. On the frontal battlefield, the White Zetsu army and the ninjas of Impure World Reincarnation are launching a crazy attack on the combined ninja army. No matter what the strength of the Impure World Reincarnation, they all have an immortal body. For the Ninja United Army, this is simply a nightmare. No matter how you fight, you can't defeat them. But they are living people, they will bleed, get injured and die. Even the White Zetsu seem to be endless for ninjas. Not to mention that there are many powerful Impure World Reincarnation ninjas among them. The top combat power of the combined army is simply not enough. Gaara, 4th Raikage, 3rd Tsuchikage, Terumi Mei. Although they are all cage-level ninjas, they have all been seriously injured and have not fully recovered. In this case, the combat effectiveness is greatly reduced. What kind of enemy are you facing? 3rd Raikage, 4th Generation Seal, 2nd Tsuchikage, 2nd Mizukage. There is also a 3rd Hokage Sarutobi Hiruzen. The gathering of the 5 shadows is already comparable to the troops of the 100,000 Ninja United Army. In addition to this, there is also a ninja god, Senju Hashirama, who came to the wood-style world tree with one hand, and directly wiped out tens of thousands of ninjas in the combined ninja army. Even if the coalition army has the superiority in numbers, the situation can only be one-sided in the face of such combat power. What's more terrible is that the joint army found Madara, and 2nd Hokage was quickly passing through the crowd, rushing towards the direction of Nine Tails. 2nd Hokage Senju Tobirama, but with Flying Thunder God technique, it is not easy to stop them. Along the way, the Joninists shot one after another, but it didn't have any effect. Instead, they were easily broken through. Knowing that not far behind Sasuke, the kunai with the Flying Thunder God spell engraved in 2nd Hokage was considered to be intercepted by the ninjas. Madara, who stayed down, was not in a hurry. I don't want to make too much noise, and the situation on Sasuke's side is not that bad. That way, he wouldn't have to worry. As long as Sasuke doesn't succeed in attacking Nine Tails, then he doesn't have to worry. On the contrary, Madara is very concerned about this ninja who suddenly stopped Sasuke. The momentum is extraordinary. But Chakra's fluctuations are not strong, although he is very courageous, he can't stop Sasuke's. It seems. It's not so easy to pass here. Sasuke sighed suddenly and met Might Guy, then the next situation is not so optimistic. Regarding Sasuke's statement, Madara was a little surprised, and it made Sasuke feel difficult to deal with. What is this guy from? Might Guy smiled. Sasuke, compared to you, my title of Blue Beast is too weak. You have become the most genius in the ninja world. In the history of the ninja world, no ninja can do what you have done. Even Uchiha Madara, the former god of ninjas and legendary Chunin, is far inferior to you. But even so, Might Guy clenched his fists. He lowered his head slowly and let out a long breath. I won't let you easily pass me by. 8 inner gates, open. 8 inner gates? Madara was stunned for a moment. The blue monster? Can you drive to the 7th gate? It is indeed possible to block Uchiha Sasuke, but it is impossible to block it for a long time. Suddenly, while Madara was thinking, powerful chakra waves erupt. Guy directly opened the 6th gate. 6th gate, view gate, open. The 6th gate was opened in an instant, which really impressed Madara. It's good that the 6th gate can be opened instantly, which shows that this ninja has a high grasp of the 8th gate. However, while he was talking, the ninja in front of him attacked Madara, so Madara had to withdraw his gaze temporarily. At this moment, Guy rushed towards Sasuke's direction, with a green light emitting from his body. Guy, who had exploded in speed and strength, looked at Sasuke's face. This punch is for Kakashi, saying that he punched with all his strength, bang bang. Sasuke gently blocked it with one hand, and now Sasuke, who has activated Sage Transformation, is very powerful in itself. Even if you don't need other forces to deal with the mere 6th gate with ease. Guy was taken aback. The power of the 6th gate. Can't shake this kid at all? Mr. Guy, you better get out of the way. It's no use, you can't stop me. Guy smiled. Are you kidding? How can a ninja decide to retreat before starting the fight? Saying that, Guy pumped his fist and jumped back. Take a deep breath, since the 6th gate is useless, then. At this moment Madara turned to look at Guy with surprise in her eyes. Is this going to open the 7th gate? 8 inner gates, 7th gate, shock gate, open. Blue light burst out. This is the last line of safety. Unlock the Guy of the 7th gate, the speed force, and become even more powerful. So Guy, who attacked again, knocked Sasuke back with a punch. But it was only 2 or 3 steps back. However, even if it was just like this, the ninjas who saw this scene were amazed. What kind of technique is this that can make even the most talented man unstoppable? This guy is just Konoha's Jonin. How can he have power comparable to Hokage? The ninjas from other villages were amazed by Might Guy's power. However, Might Guy himself is still very dissatisfied. Hateful. Still too weak. Guy pops his head, but give it a go. Day Tiger. In an instant, a white air current swept away, followed by Guy's punch, and transformed into a white tiger, which bit fiercely towards Sasuke. The terrifying roar of the tiger sounded. Sasuke slightly raised his eyelids, and then drew out the Kusanagi sword. A breath of thunder. A shape. A flash of thunder. In the next second, Hyuhu was directly cut by Sasuke, and the ninjas who hadn't had time to marvel at the power of this move were dumbfounded. Such a powerful physical attack was instantly broken. Might Guy is a blue beast in the ninja world, absolutely powerful in physical skills. But it was broken by one move. This. Guy gasped softly, sure enough, against you now, just the door is completely useless. Sasuke smiled, I said it all, you can't stop me. No. Sasuke's words should not be so absolute. Sasuke sighed helplessly, is it necessary? Guy smiled and answered Sasuke with a smile. 8 inner gates. 8 gate, dead door. Open. When the red chakra erupted, the air swept across in an instant. All the ninjas within a 100-meter range felt the roar of the strong storm, attracting everyone's attention here. At the same time, Madara kicked away all the ninjas who hindered her from watching the battle. At the same time, he shouted excitedly, is there such a technique? This guy is very good. Ha 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 spoon. When the red blood gas is completely evaporated. At this moment, Sasuke and others were stunned, even though Sasuke also thought about how amazing the power would be after the 8 gate was activated. But now after really feeling the power of 8 gate. Only then did Sasuke realize that he had underestimated the power of 8 gate. And Guy, who has completely opened the 8 gate at this moment, seems to have seen Sasuke's stunned expression for a moment, and at the same time noticed the solemn look in Sasuke's eyes. Suddenly a smile appeared. The forbidden body art from Konoha, the power of the 8 inner gates, completely exploded today. Sasuke. Are you ready? 8 inner gates, 8th gate, that was the technique that almost kicked Madara to death. And Might Guy almost kicked the finale. Sasuke dare not deal with such a technique carelessly. After all, even 6 paths Madara only had to take a total beating. At this moment, Madara sound came. What a strong aura, this kind of aura is simply unbelievable, an ordinary elite Jonin can burst out with such power. Good. Very good. Ha ha ha. Speaking of this, Madara's eyes burst into a strong light, as if he was also ignited. Sasuke frowned. Madara is just watching the fun, isn't it a big deal? Thinking of this, he shook his head helplessly. He turned to look at Guy. Sasuke also let out a long breath. Come on then, Mr. Guy. The moment the voice fell, Guy broke out directly and walked through the air. One step seemed to span a distance of tens of meters, and rushed directly to the other side of Sasuke. Then let you feel the power dozens of times beyond Hokage. I am afraid that this dozens of times simply refers to strength, not combat effectiveness. In terms of combat power, Sasuke's combat power is dozens of times higher than that of Hokage. Sunset. 1 foot. Boom. In an instant, he punched through the air. The airflow is driven, and the violent punching produces a terrifying shockwave, which can be regarded as real physical damage. Moves like absorb chakra are completely useless. Sasuke clapped his hands suddenly, magnet style. The sand and iron that floated from the ground in an instant surrounded Sasuke to form a solid iron ball to defend against attacks. But in the next second, the astonishing shockwave hit the iron ball. Break the iron ball directly. Don't give Sasuke too much reaction time at all, hit the commander's assistant's face with great precision. Beep. At this moment Sasuke felt this force, and the right half of his face was completely shattered. Muji self-healing starts. Sasuke almost took a breath and healed instantly. However, Guy's attack was more than this, and the second attack came immediately. 2 legs. Beep. This time it was an attack from behind. The storm created by the same punch compressed the airflow in an instant, turning it into something like a cannonball, and slammed towards Sasuke fiercely. Punch. Just hit Sasuke directly. This time even Sasuke didn't have time to defend. At the moment of being hit, Sasuke's eyes narrowed slightly. Susanoo. In the next moment, Susanoo's complete body exploded, guarding Sasuke's entire body in it. However, Guy's attack still did not stop. 3 legs. Beep. With another blow, Susanoo shattered instantly. The impact caused by the unprecedented power directly caused Sasuke to be completely suppressed. Even Susanoo's defense is simply unable to withstand the might of the 8 inner gates. Although Guy's attack has not been fully displayed, it is only to this extent. It has already made all the ninjas dumbfounded. I didn't expect Konoha village to be so crouching tiger, hidden dragon. There is still someone who can beat Uchiha Sasuke to the ground. What's this guy's name? Why is it so violent? It's all violence without emotion. Pure taijutsu suppresses Sasuke. And watching Sasuke vomit blood, the body began to twist. It looked like he was seriously injured and died. The dim eyes of the ninjas began to brighten, as if there was hope suddenly. Uchiha Sasuke, is Hana about to be killed? Thinking of this, everyone swallowed silently. 4 legs. 5 legs. 6-legged. With the last blow, Guy rushed directly to the body, and the light of chakra slowly dissipated. Behind Sasuke, who seemed to have completely lost consciousness, a firm punch hit Commander's back. The power that erupted at this moment directly stunned all the ninjas present. Because of the power of a punch, Sasuke burst out immediately, flying a distance of hundreds of meters. Immediately afterwards, it fell hard to the ground, sliding continuously. The ninjas along the way hurriedly dodged, almost evading. A series of smoke rose up. The hearts of all the ninjas who witnessed this scene froze suddenly. Konoha. A man who was first a ninja god and then a legend. Ninjutsu Master 2nd Hokage, Ninjutsu Doctor 3rd Hokage. Golden Flash, 4th Hokage, and Ninja Princess 5th Hokage. Anyway, Konoha's Hokage is worth every piece of waste. Even among ordinary ninjas, there are still such terrifying and ruthless characters hidden. This guy is probably more than enough to cover his shoulders. And he is just a Konoha Jonin. Hidden Dragon Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon Crouching Tiger Konoha. How many monsters are there? No, even Uchiha Sasuke is technically a member of Konoha. The fierce impact stopped, and Sasuke also stopped slowly. At this time, Naruto, who was absorbing Nine Tails chakra, was stunned. Looking at the smoke that keeps going away, Sasuke was beaten like this, shouldn't he be killed directly? I haven't finished absorbing the tailed beast chakra yet. If Sasuke is killed like this, then I have not absorbed Nine Tails chakra for nothing? When Sasuke was thinking this way, Guy took a few quick steps, walked through the air, and rushed directly to Sasuke's direction. And at this time, Madara's voice suddenly sounded. What's that guy's name? Suddenly heard Madara's voice, Guy stopped and turned to look at Madara. Might Guy. Madara nodded. Very good. Your taijutsu can suppress Uchiha Sasuke like this. I, Uchiha Madara, would like to call you the strongest. Moment. Madara's voice echoed across the battlefield. At this instant, countless ninjas looked in Guy's direction. The legendary man, the recognized Guy. Who made Madara say that? At this moment, Sasuke slowly got up from the ground, covered in blood, and smiled helplessly in the smoke. He raised his hand to wipe the blood from the corner of his mouth. This can be said to be the most embarrassing time for him. What is even more speechless is that the person who was beaten was himself, but Madara still uttered that famous saying. Call it the strongest? That's not necessarily the case. If we talk about 8 inner gates, the people who will meet are not just Might Guy alone. Sasuke raised his head suddenly, his eyes glowed red. Uchiha Madara. Seeing the man laughing wildly, Guy's face became a little ugly. Strictly speaking, Uchiha Madara is also one of the extremely dangerous characters. If possible, we should kill this guy together. But now Guy doesn't have much time to deal with him, he can only deal with Uchiha Sasuke first. As for Uchiha Madara, let's talk later. But Guy guessed that he probably didn't have the energy to deal with him anymore. Thinking of this, Guy turned his head and hurried towards Sasuke. And this time Sasuke got up from the ground, looking out of the smoke, the direction he came from. The corners of the mouth rose slightly. There are quite a few ninjas around, moving towards Sasuke. It seems to want to make sure whether Sasuke is dead or not. Boom. In an instant, Sasuke dispersed the surrounding smoke instantly, and the powerful chakra wave erupted again. Madara turned her head for a moment to look in Sasuke's direction. Are you still safe and sound after such a fierce attack? Uchiha Sasuke. You are a monster. At this time, the ninjas around were startled by the sudden storm, while looking for Sasuke intact. The ninjas also looked shocked. Suffering such a serious attack, it's so fine? Bang bang bang. Guy, who came from the sky, turned extremely ugly after landing. It's still, no way. I didn't expect that. I opened the 8th gate, but it still didn't have any effect on Sasuke. I have used Shishong, but Sasuke is still alive. It seems that if Sasuke is not completely killed with one blow, then it is absolutely impossible to kill him. Thinking of this, Guy took a deep breath. It seems That is the only way to use it. Just thinking about it, suddenly Sasuke's voice sounded. Mr. Guy, the 8 inner gates are really fishy. Said Sasuke raised his hands, looking at his current appearance, although the injury has recovered. But Sasuke's sage mode has been turned off. One blow directly destroys one's own sage transformation, all the celestial chakra. Sasuke was forced out of sage mode for the first time. Suffice it to say about the terrifying power of the 8 inner gates. Feeling that Sasuke's aura has weakened a lot, it can be regarded as a little comfort in my heart. If it is really useless, then the blow to him is really huge. While absorbing Nine Tails chakra, Naruto looked at Sasuke in the distance. Master Tsunade, what is the power of the teacher? Hearing this, Tsunade gave a helpless smile. That's the power I got at the price of burning my life. Just like the red light on Guy. That's the heat that comes out after the blood vapor evaporates. Like a burning flame, shine the ninja world with the last light. Tears welled up in the corners of Tsunade's eyes as he spoke. Hearing this, the ninjas around are assisting Naruto to untie the Minato seal and leak the tailed beast chakra out of these ninjas. They're all Grandmaster seals, and certainly not just Konoha's ninjas. Among them are many ninjas of Cloud Shinobi, Mist Shinobi, Sandstone, Rock Shinobi. They all looked at Guy with admiration in their eyes now. A ninja who is willing to delay time with his life has given up on himself and illuminated the entire ninja world. However, this kind of technique is not available to everyone. If you don't polish yourself to a certain level, you won't be able to open the last gate of 8 inner gates at all. You also need talent if you want to give up your life. Tsunade looked at Guy, who was confronting Sasuke. Guy's physical talent is indeed the strongest, as Uchiha Madara said. Strongest. The two words have also been recognized by other ninjas. Hearing Tsunade say that, they didn't think there was anything wrong with Guy getting such a title. But when it comes to talent, Naruto's eyes suddenly shrank slightly. Wait. In terms of talent, Mr. Guy is indeed very talented in physical arts, but there are probably people in this world who are stronger than him. Hearing this, Tsunade froze for a moment. Who? It's okay to admit that Guy is the strongest at a time like this. Wouldn't it be a tribute to Guy's awareness? I have to say that there are people who are stronger than Guy. Naruto looked at Sasuke. Before he could speak, Sasuke's voice sounded in the next second. Mr. Guy, no. I should probably call you Teacher Guy. Your 8 inner gates demo, I totally get it. Guy, who was about to do something here, froze for a moment. What does this mean? In the next second, Sasuke gently twisted his neck, making a clicking sound. Madara, who came at this moment, stood aside and looked at Sasuke. At the same time, his peripheral vision paid attention to the 9 Tails Jinchuriki, Uzumaki Naruto not far away. Absorbing tail beast chakra? How is this going? Namikaze Minato, Konoha's 4th Hokage with tailed beast's chakra? It is precisely because Madara doesn't understand why such a situation exists, so she chooses not to act in a hurry for the time being. Wait until Naruto is over. This guy is absorbing 9 Tails chakra. If he interrupts at this time, it may make things more troublesome. It's better to wait and see what happens. Sasuke's target here is also 9 Tails, and there are quite a few ninjas over there. Wait until Sasuke finishes them off, and then do it yourself. In return for teaching the 8 inner gates, I'll show you what I've learned. The other ninjas were clueless now, but Guy was clear. Sasuke has already shown it before, and Sasuke also learned 8 inner gates. And I learned it directly from him. And Sasuke was able to open the 7th gate last time, so will this time. No, Sasuke probably won't. Opening the 8th gate means death. Sasuke had no reason to let himself die like this. So Sasuke opens the 7th gate at most, and uses the 7th gate to fight against his own 8th gate, which shows that Sasuke has no other way to deal with himself. At the same time, the power of 8th gate far exceeds that of 7th gate, and he is still stronger than Sasuke and has a chance to kill Sasuke. Then let me see your 8 inner gates. Guy spoke slowly. At this time, the ninjas around were dumbfounded. Sasuke's 8 inner gates. Will this guy also 8 inner gates? What a joke. The next second Sasuke nodded. Then, watch it, Mr. Guy. 8 inner gates. 8 gate. No 8 gate. Wait, how could this guy choose to open the 8th gate? No. Why was Sasuke able to open the last door at once? Sage transformation has long helped Sasuke get through the meridians in his body, and it is also very easy to directly open the last door. Boom. In an instant, a red light burst out. In the next second, a terrifying storm swept across the entire battlefield. Red light, red blood mist steam burst out. Sasuke was bathed in red light, and his aura increased dramatically. Madara stared at Sasuke with wide eyes. Select to open Chapter 8 Gate? Uchiha Sasuke. Crazy?